Chapter 1856. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web quick update. No pop-up window, free to read. Dr. Howe's words made the faces of the people in the room gloomy. Forbidden medicine. Forbidden medicine. I told you not to take forbidden medicine, but you didn't listen. Now father is going to die from the effects of forbidden medicine. Yu Yin roared. All the doctors in the room lowered their heads. What should we do now? Father can't keep vomiting blood like this. If this continues, father will. Yu Yan's eyes turned red. He suppressed the anger and sadness in his heart, making his weak body tremble uncontrollably. Second prince, the medicine that Wang Ye just took can temporarily stop Wang Ye from vomiting blood, but there is no way to treat his injury. I think it's better to inform the princess consort and the others as soon as possible. Dr. Howe suggested. Is there really no other way? Yu Yin asked. Now even if the Ghost King's imperial doctor comes, there is no way to save him. Dr. Howe said. When Yu Yin heard this, his body swayed, and the servant beside him immediately stepped forward to support him. Second prince, how are you? Yu Yin waved his hand, indicating that he was fine. Second prince, should we inform the princess consort and the other princes about this? Dr. Howe asked. No. This news can't be spread. Yu Yin shouted. Whoever dares to spread this news, I will not spare him. Second prince. Everyone was frightened by his sudden momentum. Second prince, if Wang Ye really can't make it, is it okay not to say anything? Someone asked. The princess consort has always had bad intentions. If she knows about father's current situation, she will definitely take the opportunity to seize power. Yu Yin said. We must be prepared before we can release the news. Then, will the county competition in 2 days still be held? It will be held as scheduled. Yes. Since he had said so, what else could they say? He was the most powerful here. While they were discussing, a black shadow flew out of the courtyard. Yu Yin came outside the room and looked in the direction of the black shadow with his hands behind his back. Sima Yue and Huan came out of another room. Yu Yin turned around and said gratefully, I really have to thank you this time. If you hadn't told us in advance, we wouldn't have been able to beat them at their own game. This was also discovered by Huan. Sima Yue smiled at Huan. The person they sent this time is the #1 hidden guard. If we didn't pay attention in advance, our guards wouldn't have noticed him at all. Once the princess consort discovers the truth, all our previous efforts will be in vain. Thank you, Huan. Huan just nodded faintly. He just wanted to help Sima Yue, not to you and Wang Ye. Don't be in such a hurry to thank me. Let me tell you another piece of news. You can thank me after you hear it. Sima Yue said. Yu Yin raised his eyebrows. More news? The princess's adulterer is here. Sima Yue said. Adulterer? Yu Yin was shocked by her words and stared at her with wide eyes. Yes, you didn't know? I thought you knew. Sima Yue said. It was just a while ago, so we don't know who it is. How did you know? I have my sources. Sima Yue said. Her scarlet bees had been staying in the prince's mansion, especially closely monitoring the princess consort's every move. So when the princess consort and that man were having sex, they didn't notice that there was a little bee peeping on the beam. Is there anything else? Yu Yin sorted out his feelings. Because he didn't get along with the princess consort, he didn't feel hurt by this news, but he was very surprised. He seems to have something to do with the power behind the princess consort. He said that if the situation is true, he will take action in advance. Sima Yue said. But he didn't say if he will send help. How about it, are you ready? We're just waiting for them to take action. Yu Yin chuckled. They had been waiting for this day for a long time. When will they take action? I think it will probably be in the next 2 days. The region competition will be a good opportunity. Yu Yin said. Then won't the region competition be ruined? No, neither father nor the princess consort will want to interrupt this competition. Yu Yin said. Then I'll just focus on the competition. And the medicinal bath for father in the next 2 days. Don't worry. After tomorrow his body will be much better. Sima Yue turned and left. Huan also left with her. For the next 2 days, She still gave Du Wuxia a medicinal bath every day, but there were more medicinal pills than before. After taking this medicinal pill, your condition will be stable for the next 2 days. As long as you don't leave yourself with only one breath, there won't be a big problem. But try not to use your spiritual power as much as possible. After all, it will hurt your body. Sima Yue reminded. The real boss doesn't have to do it personally. I know. Du Wuxia replied. I will try not to do it myself. It's good that you know. Sima Yue said. If there is trouble later, I will charge you more for treatment. Okay. By the time he finished the medicinal bath, it was already dark. She also gave him an injection during the medicinal bath, then packed up her things and returned to the inn with Huan. The people of vast region were surprised by the sudden appearance of Huan. Why did she bring back a man after not seeing her for a few days? Why did you bring back a man after being missing for a few days? Lang Yu walked around Huan twice. His surprised look made Sima Yue roll her eyes at him. Can't you talk properly? I'm talking properly. Lang Yu touched his chin and looked at Huan. Why do I feel that your friend is a bit mysterious? Sima Yue rubbed her eyebrows and said, Huan, if you want to teach him a lesson, I'm very much in favor of it. As long as you don't kill him. Huan nodded at her, and suddenly appeared behind Lang Yu. He grabbed him and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. That speed made Yushi unable to react at all. Sima Yue saw Yushi frowning and said, Don't worry, Huan has a sense of propriety. Why are there so many strange people around you? Yushi said. Your mother was not as popular as you were back then. Mother would be proud of me. Sima Yue smiled. Are you ready for tomorrow's game? Yushi asked. I'm ready. There are only more than 600 people left, and they are basically all powerful people. Although you have the Black Dragon, it has not fully grown up yet, and there is no lack of powerful mythological beasts among those geniuses. I know, but I promised Emoji that I would enter the top 10, so I will definitely enter. Sima Yue said confidently. Until now, no one has seen you fight, except for your space blockade. I'm very curious about your own strength. Sima Yue smiled mysteriously at him. You'll know when the game starts. Chapter 1857. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web, no pop-up windows, free to read. Sima Yue returned to her room, and not long after, Huan also came back. How was it? She asked. It's been solved. Huan nodded at her. He believed that when Lang Yu saw him in the future, he would be very, very obedient. I've arranged a room for you, right next to me. You don't have any objections, do you? Sima Yue asked. Just right. Huan was very satisfied with this arrangement. Then go and rest. The competition will start early tomorrow morning. Do you want me to take you to your room? Sima Yue asked. No need. When I was following you, I had already figured out the situation around you. Huan said. Well, good night. Sima Yue returned to her room, went to the spirit pagoda to take a bath, and fell asleep comfortably. On the other side of the inn, Lang Yu was gritting his teeth and shouting. What is the origin of this Huan? I didn't see what he used at all, and he beat me up like this. This guy is really vicious. You should be glad that he only used his hands. Yushi applied medicine to him. If he used his spiritual power, you wouldn't be like this. Can you tell where he came from? Hiss, be gentle. Lang Yu cried out in pain. Who told you to talk nonsense? Even if he didn't beat you up, I would have dealt with you. Yushi said. Well, I really shouldn't have said that, but I was just joking. And I also wanted to try to find out his details. Who knew that he was so powerful? Lang Yu's mouth twitched. How long has Sima Yue been in the ghost realm? How can there be such a powerful person protecting her? And this person's aura is a bit strange. Yushi said as he applied medicine. I don't know how she knew him. Since the other party said that he was here to protect her, at present, he is not an enemy. Lang Yu said. Yushi stared at him without speaking, and the silence made him feel a headache. I sacrifice myself for us. He is not an enemy. As long as she's in the middle, it doesn't count. Yushi's words made him heave a sigh of relief. He really didn't want to be enemies with such a powerful person. He had a feeling that Huan was so powerful that he could get rid of him in minutes. Sigh, it hurts so much. You have to compensate me. I didn't tell you to do that. You can't burn the bridge after crossing it. Is there a bridge? Early the next morning, Sima Yue took Fang Yinghan and the others to the competition venue. Morong Hui disappeared in the middle of the night, and the students who did not participate in the competition did not come to watch this time. It wasn't just their county that was like this. The situation was similar in other counties as well, so there were very few people watching today's competition. Looking at the situation, he knew that something was going to happen today. When the competition started, no one from the prince's mansion came. Only the host and the referees were there. Contestants, please step forward and draw your number. The host didn't even make any opening remarks. He directly asked the contestants to draw their numbers and take their tokens. Because it was an elite competition now, the number of people entering each time was reduced from 100 to 50 groups to make it easier for the people outside to watch. Out of the 304 groups, Sima Yue drew the last group and could only go on stage last. Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingdao were in the first group to go on stage. They were number 25 and 40 respectively. With the medicinal pills and one-time use arrays given by Sima Yue, both of them advanced to the next round. Not bad. Sima Yue smiled at the two of them. It's all thanks to Miss that we were able to advance. Zhang Mingdao looked at Sima Yue gratefully. If they won this competition, they would advance to the top 300. With this ranking, they would be able to receive great training from the dynasty. Their future achievements were self-evident. If they could advance, then there was no need to talk about it. However, in the face of so many masters, they had no hope of advancing in the next round. With their current results, they were already very satisfied. Go and rest and heal your injuries. Sima Yue nodded at them and didn't say much. Both Zhang Mingda and Fang Yinghan could see that her state today was a little erratic, so they obediently returned to their seats, took the medicinal pills, and watched the competition while healing their injuries. Yuan Yan and Emoji didn't come, and Lang Yu didn't come because of his bruised face. Only Yu Shi and Huan accompanied her. However, they all saw that she was a little uneasy. It'll be fine. Yu Shi said, with your father's strength he shouldn't be sent to the front line. Are you comforting me? Sima Yue was speechless. Although Dad's strength is not very strong, he is also a core member of Wuxia. It'll be fine. Huan also comforted her. None of these dukes came today. I think they either followed Princess Consort and the others, or went with Prince and the others. Sima Yue sighed. I can only say that the people who compete here are lucky, because they don't have to face today's events. It was the first time Yu Shi saw Sima Yue so sad, and he didn't like it. Instead, he said, I don't know if you will meet a strong opponent in today's competition. I'm still waiting to see your strength. Do you believe my words so much? What if I'm just bragging? Sima Yue turned her head and asked him. Yu Shi chuckled. Are you? Sima Yue pouted. His reaction was really not funny. I hope I won't meet a very powerful one today. That depends on your luck. Practice proved that her luck was really good. Although the strength of the people she met this time was good, it was not to the point where she had to take action. However, the other party also had a more powerful spirit beast, so Sima Yue called out Xiao He. At first, when they saw Xiao He, who had no spiritual power, everyone thought that Sima Yue was at her wit's end. So she used a useless underworld dog to make up the numbers. However, after seeing Xiao He's speed, they were all stunned. Sure enough, there were no ordinary underworld beasts here. Sima Yue came down and saw Yushi's speechless expression. She pursed her lips and smiled. I'm so sorry I didn't show you my strength again, uncle. Yushi raised his eyebrows. You'll see it eventually. It's already late. Those things should have been settled by now. Sima Yue looked at the distant sky. What do you think, one? Yushi asked. Do I even need to ask? I have confidence in my father. Sima Yue said. You already knew the result? I said before, I have sources of information. Sima Yue said. The things outside have just ended, we can go back. At this time, some guards ran in from outside, and the contestants who were about to leave all stopped. What's going on? Some people did not know what was going on, but Sima Yue and the rest knew what was going on. Therefore, they were not surprised at all when they saw the guards leading the contestants away. Chapter 1858. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window, free to read. Looking at the people who were taken away, they were even more certain of their guess. The princess and her child had failed. After the guards left, Fang Yinghan said to Sima Yue, "Let's go back." Sima Yue nodded. She had just taken a few steps when her expression suddenly changed. She said to Yushi, "Uncle, please take them back." "What's wrong?" "I have something to do. Uncle, I'm counting on you." Sima Yue disappeared after speaking. Yushi and Huan didn't expect her to disappear so suddenly. They were stunned for a moment, and then Huan also left. Although Yushi was curious about what she had to do, when he saw Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda, he gave up the idea of chasing after them. He couldn't ignore what she had asked him to do. "Miss just disappeared like that, right?" Zhang Mingda pulled Fang Yinghan's hand and looked at the place where Sima Yue was standing just now in surprise. "I didn't expect Miss to be so powerful." Fang Yinghan was also shocked by Sima Yue's strength. "Let's go. I'll take you back first." Yushi turned around and left first. At the same time he muttered in his heart, "This girl doesn't show off, but when she does, it's amazing." Really. Before Sima Yue reached her destination, Huan caught up with her. The two didn't speak in the space, and she took him directly to the 7th prince's residence. It wasn't over yet. The 7th prince, Yu Qi, was still stubbornly resisting with his men. Yu Yan surrounded the 7th prince's residence with his men, and forced them to the backyard step by step. There was no way to retreat, and the two sides were in a stalemate. "7th prince, you have no way out. Surrender obediently." Yu Yan came to the front of the team and faced Yu Qi. Seeing Yu Yan return to normal, Yu Qi snorted coldly. "I didn't expect that the person who hid the deepest was you. After so many years, you are the one who hid your strength. Am I not forced by you?" Yu Yan flicked his sleeves. "If I didn't show weakness, I'm afraid I would have followed my mother. Can he still be alive?" "Humph, using your own body as a stake. You are also a heartless person. Imperial father knew about it long ago, but he hid it from everyone with you. Everyone says that he favors little brother the most, but it seems that little brother is just a cover for him. He has long wanted to pass the throne to you. If you were loyal to Imperial father, he wouldn't have given up on you. But your heart is not with him at all." Yu Yan said. "Ha ha ha. Of course my heart isn't with him. He is not my father. He knows this, so in his heart, he has never thought of letting me inherit the throne. Since that's the case, I will naturally seek a throne for myself. What's wrong with that?" Tell me, what did I do wrong?" "Looks like you already knew." Yu Yan said. "Then you should know that the princess consort and your biological father have already been arrested. You'd better surrender." "Surrender without a fight? Second Imperial brother, do you think I'm stupid or that you're too childish?" Yu Qi laughed sinisterly. "As long as I surrender, I won't be far from death. I'm not that stupid. Even if you resist stubbornly, you won't be able to escape. If you continue, you'll only end up dying immediately." Yu Yan said. "In view of our many years of brotherhood, I suggest you don't do this. If you want to kill me, you're not enough." Yu Qi shouted. "I will definitely escape." "Escape? Just you?" Xiao Ruabai opened the door and came out from inside. Immediately, someone's attention was locked on her. "Ruabai, I'm here to take you away." Yu Qi walked to Xiao Ruabai's side, looking affectionate as if it was real. "Are you here to take me away?" Xiao Ruabai sneered. "Of course I'm here to take you away." Yu Qi looked at her. "Although it's more difficult, we can still leave." "But I don't want to leave with you," Xiao Ruabai said. "I shouldn't be here." "No, you have to come with me. Ruabai, you have no choice." Yu Qi looked at her, not giving her a chance to refuse. Xiao Ruabai looked back at him. "We know what you want. I won't go with you." Yu Qi took out a long sword, put it on her neck, and said, "I'm not a patient person. Ruabai, you know me. If you don't come with me today, then I can only send you away first. Then come. Xiao Ruabai was not afraid at all. The Xiao family was destroyed, and I have been living an ignoble existence for the past 2 years. If I can go to them today, it will be a good thing. Living an ignoble existence? When Yu Yan heard her say this, he suddenly laughed. In order to save you, I spent so much effort, and you actually said that. You're still so good at flaunting yourself. But isn't this you? Xiao Ruabai raised her chin. If you want to do it, then come. 7th Prince, we can't delay any longer. The people behind him urged. Yu Qi also knew that time waited for no one. Looking at Xiao Ruabai's face without any reluctance, he finally waved the sword in his hand. Whoosh! A small stone knocked away Yu Qi's sword. He quickly reacted, pulled Xiao Ruabai, and grabbed her neck with his hand. Everyone looked at the power just now, and Sima Yue and Huan slowly appeared. It's you. Yu Qi looked at her in surprise. He didn't expect her to come here. When Xiao Ruabai saw her, her eyes flashed, but in the end, she didn't say anything. Xier, why are you here? Yu Yan was also surprised by Sima Yue's appearance. I'm here to pick up Ruabai. Sima Yue said. Yu Qi lowered his head and bit Xiao Ruabai's ear. Hee, it seems that your enemy still bills herself as your friend. She still wants to save you. Xiao Ruabai looked at Sima Yue and didn't say anything. Second brother, I know that Morong Hui and Morong Shi are both your people. Why don't we make an exchange? I'll give you Xiao Ruabai, and you let me leave. How about it? Yu Qi asked. Yu Yan glanced at Sima Yue. With just one glance, Yu Qi knew what was going on. It seems that Morong Shi has a high status in Yu Yan's heart, and she values Xiao Ruabai very much. So Xiao Ruabai is his bargaining chip today. Sima Yue saw through his thoughts and said, You want her to be a bargaining chip? Yes. How about it, Morong Shi? If you want Ruabai to live, you have to let us out. I know that the person beside you is very strong. As long as you want, you can get her. Don't try to play tricks. I can take her life in an instant. Do you think you have the qualifications to negotiate with us? You want to kill Ruabai. As soon as her voice fell, she appeared in front of Yu Qi and grabbed his hand that was holding Xiao Ruabai without warning. Chapter 1859. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web no pop-up window. Free to read. Yu Qi had no time to react. He felt his wrists go numb, and then the person disappeared. He held his arm with his other hand, and only then did he see that there was an embroidery needle on his wrist. He pulled it out forcefully, and his numb wrist recovered. At this time, Sima Yue had returned to the air with Xiao Ruabai. How about it, I said. You are not qualified to threaten me. Sima Yue said, Second Prince, you don't have to worry about me in the future. Go. Yu Yan waved his hand, and the people behind him attacked Yu Qi and the others. Huan, sorry to trouble you. Sima Yue looked at Huan and he understood what she meant. With a wave of his hand, the entire space was sealed by him. So when Yu Qi and the others tried to tear the space to escape, they found that the space could no longer be opened. In the end, Yu Qi refused to surrender and was killed by Yu Yan. His followers were all killed. Xier, I have to report to my father, so I'll leave first. Be careful. Yu Yan finished speaking and left with a few people, while the others stayed to control the people in the 7th Prince's residence. I won't be grateful to you, Xiao Ruabai said. I don't want you to be grateful, Sima Yue said. However, I am very grateful to you for not telling Yu Qi my identity before. Xiao Ruabai looked into the distance and said, I'm just keeping my promise, not for you. The result is the same, Sima Yue said. The Morong family destroyed my Xiao family, and you saved my life today. From now on, we don't owe each other anything. Don't come to me again, and I won't come to you again. Goodbye. Xiao Ruabai turned and left. Sima Yue watched her go further and further away, but did not chase after her. Aren't you going to chase her? Huan asked. He had been following Sima Yue all the time, so he naturally knew the little things between her and Xiao Ruabai, and knew her feelings for Xiao Ruabai. I'm not going. Sima Yue shook her head. It's not suitable for me to chase after her now. That would make her feel bad. Aren't you worried about her? I have already informed Gongzi Yuan. He will take care of her. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Let's go back. She looked at the prince's mansion that had been turned into ruins because of the battle just now, and her body slowly disappeared into the space. Huan also left with her. Back at the inn, Muronghui and the others had not returned, and the whole courtyard was deserted. When Yushi saw her, he wanted to ask her about her disappearing hand, but seeing that she was not in good spirits, he did not disturb her. When Sima Yue saw him, she nodded at him and entered the house. When Lang Yu saw her so listless, he blinked and said, "What's wrong with her? Why do you look like you've been abused? You must have something on your mind." After getting along with her for a few days, he had a preliminary understanding of her. "What did you see today?" "It's just like that." At first, the princess and the others were all fine, and victory was in their hands. When Wang Ye came out, the situation was completely reversed. He was not at his last breath like the rumors said. Instead, he was in high spirits. At first glance, his spirit was very good. I'm thinking, when we saw him, was he pretending? Lang Yu was a little doubtful. "Didn't you check him? Can he hide it from you?" "When I checked him at that time, his body was indeed in a serious deficit, and he couldn't pretend so well," Lang Yu said. "In other words, he was cured during this period of time," Yushi said affirmatively. "His body was beyond treatment at that time. Who was so powerful that he could recover so quickly?" Lang Yu suddenly paused and looked at Sima Yoyue's room in disbelief. Could it be her? Yushi did not speak, but he also guessed so in his heart. My God, if that's the case, then her medical skills are much more powerful than we thought before. Lang Yu licked his lips. This girl hid deeper than we thought. It's indeed much deeper. Yushi said, I'm looking forward to seeing her match in the competition, and forcing her to use her spiritual power. I'm also looking forward to it, but it's unlikely. Lang Yu became a little disappointed when he said this. What's wrong? During the day, we received news that the king gave us a task. We have to do it in 2 days, and we won't even be able to see the next promotion. Lang Yu said, How long have we rested? Another task. We haven't rested enough yet. This task is really... Yushi was also a little speechless. If it was in the past, the two of them would not be like this, but now that they were finally interested in something, they had to leave. This was not a good feeling. Forget it, we have to leave sooner or later. The things here are almost done, so it's better to leave now. Yushi went to find Sima Yue and told her that they were leaving. Sima Yue was slightly surprised to hear that they were leaving, and then she replied, Since it's a task given to you by the Ghost King, you naturally have to deal with it. Shir, aren't you reluctant to part with us? Lang Yu was unhappy. He was very reluctant to part with her. Sima Yue twitched the corner of her mouth and said, Yes, I'm very reluctant to part with you. But aren't you going to do something? Business is more important. Anyway, it's not like we won't have a chance to see each other later. Maybe we'll meet in the capital soon. Then we'll wait for you in the capital. Come early. Lang Yu began to look forward to it again. If she went to the capital, who knew what kind of storm she would stir up? Yushi was much more straightforward. After telling her that if there was any danger, she could report his name, and then left with Lang Yu. Without the two people, especially without Lang Yu, who often chattered in her ear, she felt a lot quieter. If Lang Yu knew what she was thinking, his heart would be broken again. That night, Moronghui and the people from Vast Region did not come back. The next morning, the people from Vast Region came back, but Moronghui still did not come back. Sima Yue saw that nearly 1/3 of the team was missing and said, Thank you for your hard work. Go have a good rest and heal your injuries. There shouldn't be anything else after this. Yes, Mississippi, everyone was indeed tired. In addition, they lost 1/3 of their companions and were in a bad mood, so they went back to rest. Miss, why hasn't the Duke come back yet? Zhang Mingda asked. Wang Ye left him to deal with some things. Don't worry, father is fine. He will be back in 2 days. Sima Yue comforted the two. 2 days later, Moronghui still did not come back, but the guards of the Wangfu came to pick her up. Sima Yue looked at the people in the inn, nodded, and left with the two people. After a while, another guard of the Wangfu came over and said that he wanted to pick her up. The atmosphere in the inn suddenly fell to the freezing point. Chapter 1860. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web quick update. No pop-up window, free to read. You said you came to take her to the Wang mansion? Fang Yinghan asked. One of the guards took out the Wang mansion's token to show his identity. Fang Yinghan looked at it and confirmed that it was the Wang mansion's token. May I ask where Miss Morongxi is? Another guard asked. Just now, two people wearing the same clothes as you came and said they would take her to the Wang mansion. She followed them. Zhang Mingda said. What? Wang Ye only sent the two of us, no one else. The guard shouted. Are those people really the Wang mansion's guards? This is bad. Those people are not from the Wang mansion. Zhang Mingda shouted. Miss left with them. Will she be in danger? Let's go find Miss. The people from vast region stood up. Don't panic, I think Miss already knows. Fang Yinghan was the calmest among them. Miss knows? Yes. I didn't notice before, but now that I think about it, Miss glanced at us before she left. At that time, she should have already discovered that those two people were not from the Wang mansion. Fang Yinghan recalled Sima Yoyue's gaze. Thinking about it now, her gaze was indeed a bit strange. So Miss knew that those two people were fake, but she still followed them? Why? Miss should have exposed them. Zhang Mingda said. Could it be that those two people are too strong? If she exposed them, perhaps it would bring you danger? The Wang mansion's guard guessed. So for our safety Miss put herself in danger? The people from vast region were moved. Miss was too good to them. If anything happens to Miss, we will be sinners. Miss Shi, let's go find Miss. Don't panic, I think Miss knows what she is doing. Fang Yinghan said. But we still have to find Miss as soon as possible. We will report to Wang Ye. The two guards hurriedly left to tell the news to Deyu Wang Ye. Just as the people from vast region were about to leave, a scarlet bee flew back and stopped in front of Fang Yinghan. This is Mrs. B. Zhang Mingda recognized the scarlet bee. Could it be that Miss sent you to deliver a message to us? At this moment, the scarlet bee nodded, as if agreeing with his words. It's true. Then where is Miss now? Can you take us there? Fang Yinghan asked. Scarlet bee shook his head. You can't take us there? Fang Yinghan asked. The scarlet bee nodded. Miss doesn't want us to look for her? The scarlet bee nodded. Everyone looked at each other. She didn't want them to look for her? Young Miss must have guessed that we would look for her, so she sent the scarlet bees to stop us. Zhang Mingda said. Little bee, it's fine if you don't want to take us. But tell us, is Miss in danger now? Scarlet bee shook his head. Seeing this, everyone's worried hearts were finally at ease. Since Miss sent the bees back to report that she is safe, then there should be no problem. Miss was very capable. She must have her reasons for doing so. Then let's not disrupt Miss's plans. Fang Yinghan said. Scarlet bee nodded again. Then let's go and tell the Duke, lest they worry. Zhang Mingda said. Scarlet bee nodded again, then flew away. It seems that Miss meant to tell us not to look for her, and to tell the Duke this news. Fang Yinghan said. Then let's go now. Zhang Mingda suggested. We don't know where Miss is now, and who took her away. After Sima Yue left with the two of them, they did not walk towards the Duke's palace. Instead, they walked out of the city. Aren't we going to see Wang Ye? Why are we walking out of the imperial city? Sima Yue asked the two of them. Miss, Wang Ye and the Duke are outside the city. The guard said. Do you think I'm stupid? How could Wang Ye and my father be outside the city? Who are you? Sima Yue stopped, unwilling to continue walking. You found out. But you don't have a choice now. One of the guards said. Are you going to follow us obediently, or are you going to be tied up by us? Sima Yue looked at the two of them, her hands behind her back. Don't try to resist, we know you have the black dragon, but since we dared to come, it means that we have the ability to deal with it. Resisting will not do you any good. The other guard threatened. If you resist, the people guarding outside the inn will kill all the people in vast region. I think you don't want anything to happen to them, right? Sima Yue looked at the two of them angrily, but in view of the current situation, she suppressed her anger and said, "Okay, I'll go with you." "That's right. Let's go. My master wants to see you." Sima Yue followed them and continued to walk out of the city. She stretched out her index finger behind her back and waved it, indicating to Huan that they should not act rashly. At the same time, she ordered Scarlet Bee to keep the people in the inn safe. She really wanted to know who would pay attention to her at this time. She counted with her fingers. It couldn't be the princess consort. She had already been caught at this time. It was also impossible for it to be the princes. They had such powerful people, they would have taken them out long ago. As for Emoji, Yushi and the others, it was impossible for them to do such a boring thing. Besides them, who else would pay attention to her? The two fake guards took her out of the city and went all the way to an inconspicuous courtyard on the outskirts. The two guards took her in, and as soon as she entered the courtyard, she found that there were many experts here. Many people locked their attention on her. It seemed that the background of the people waiting here was not ordinary. A maid came over, and when she saw Sima Yue, she said with a cold face, "Go in, my master is waiting for you." Sima Yue followed her into an exquisite small courtyard at the back, and saw the back of a person sitting in a wheelchair. Similar back view, similar silence. At that moment, she thought she saw Xian Qiuhe. However, the other party quickly broke her illusion. He turned around and looked at Sima Yue. His indifferent and handsome face did not have the gentleness that Xian Qiuhe gave people. "Miss Morong, hello. I'm sorry to have taken the liberty to invite you here. I hope I didn't scare you." The man said, "To be honest, you did scare me." Sima Yue said, "But I don't think you care about my little mood." The man smiled slightly. He really didn't care. "Who are you? Why did you bring me here?" Sima Yue asked. "I heard that Miss Morong is very smart. Why don't you guess why I invited you here?" The man waved his hand. The space ring on his hand was very simple. Sima Yue shrugged. "I don't like to stand and talk to people." Chapter 1861. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Reading book web no pop-up window. Free to read. The man moved his fingers, and someone immediately brought a chair over for Sima Yue. Sima Yue sat down and faced the man. She straightened her skirt before looking at the other party and faintly saying, "I only came from a small place. How could I guess where a great Buddha like you came from? Why don't you tell me your name and why you've captured me here? If you're here to threaten Wangya, then you've got the wrong person. I'm just a nobody. I'm not that useful." The man chuckled. "If you're a nobody, would you believe your own words?" "Of course I would." Sima Yue nodded seriously. Wasn't there a saying that if you want others to believe, you have to believe yourself first? If you're a nobody, you can easily kill the head of the Xiao family. If you were a nobody, you would have been able to cure the Prince of Great Yu's injury that had been dragging on for decades. If you're a nobody, you can make the Black Dragon submit to you? Tell me, are you a nobody? The man asked. Sima Yue's smile did not fade, but her heart was in turmoil. This man knew everything. Since he was so sure, she did not have to pretend to be a fool. She shrugged. "Since you know everything, it seems like you've investigated me. You know everything about me, but I don't know who you are. Isn't this a little unfair?" "I spent a lot of effort to investigate you," the man said. "If you want to know who I am, do you have to give me something in exchange?" "I don't have anything in exchange. If you're willing to tell me, then tell me. If you're not, then forget it." Sima Yue leaned against the back of the chair. "How boring. I thought you would guess," the man said. "This world is so big, and there are so many capable people. How can I know everyone?" Sima Yue said. "No, with your intelligence, you'll be able to guess. It's just that you're not interested in guessing with me," the man said. "Perhaps I should do something to pique your interest. Look who that is." Sima Yue looked in the direction he was pointing at, and saw a few guards bringing two people out. She squinted her eyes. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I heard that the two of them are your good friends." In order to invite you over, I invited them over first. The man said. Gee, were you captured too? Gongzi Yuan shouted anxiously when he saw Sima Yue. Are you guys alright? Sima Yue asked. I'm fine. His spiritual power was sealed, Gongzi Yuan replied. Sima Yue nodded at the two of them. Then she looked at the man and said, Tell me, why did you call me here? You don't have to look like you're facing a great enemy. I'm very friendly, and would like to get to know you. The man said. Your friendliness is really special. Sima Yue snorted. Release Gongzi Yuan and Ruabai. I didn't intend to embarrass the two of them. It's just that with them, you will be more sincere to talk to me. The man said. After the matter is done, I will naturally release them. But if you don't want to, I can't guarantee their safety. What conditions do you have? I'll agree. Sima Yue said. Good. Straightforward. The man clapped his hands lightly. I heard that the two of them had a good relationship when they were in Eternal Brilliance City. Now that they can be treated like this by you, it's not in vain that they were loyal to you. If you want to negotiate with me, shouldn't you show some sincerity? Sima Yue said. Since you have sealed their spiritual power, even if they are with me, they are no threat to you. The man thought for a moment and waved his hand. The guards immediately released Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai. Gongzi Yuan was free and pulled Xiao Ruabai to Sima Yue's side. Xier, why are you here? They have a lot of experts here, Gongzi Yuan said. I know. Sima Yue said. Are you too injured? Take this healing pill first. She took out 2 pills and gave them to the two. She didn't know if the man was too confident in his strength, but he didn't stop her. Gongzi Yuan took the pill and ate it. Xiao Ruabai looked at the pill in her hand and didn't move. Ruabai? Gongzi Yuan urged her. Xiao Ruabai looked up at Sima Yue, said thank you, and then swallowed the pill. As soon as she ate it, she knew that this pill was not as simple as healing. Okay, now you can say it. What do you want me to do? Sima Yue stood in front of the two and looked at the man. It's very simple. I want you to come with me. The man said. I don't know who you are. Besides, you want me to go with you. Aren't you afraid that I will betray you? Sima Yue asked. This is easy to solve, isn't it? My name is DC Kong. You may have heard of my family. DC Kong said. DC Kong? Sima Yue was startled and remembered Di Wu Yi in the Spirit Pagoda. Sorry, I have never heard of the 4th family. I only know the 5th family. Do you know the 5th family? DC Kong smiled. The 4th family is obviously more powerful than the 5th family. How do you know that they don't know us? But it's all the same. The 4th and 5th families all work for the princess. Anaheim? Don't you know that Anaheim sent people to kill me and my father before? If she knew that you came to me, I don't know if she would be suspicious of your 4th family. If the princess knows your ability, she will naturally accept you. The 4th family still has the face to protect your life. DC Kong said. But I don't want to work for her. Sima Yue said. So I'm sorry, I can't agree to your request. Are you sure? I originally thought that you wanted me to help you heal your legs. I didn't expect this to be your request. I am a vengeful person. Anaheim sent people to kill me before. It's fine if I don't take revenge on her, but you want me to work for her. Do you think this is possible? Sima Yue scoffed. Follow me, not in front of her. DC Kong explained. Isn't it the same? Change your request, I can still consider. Sima Yue said. Do you think that you still have a choice when you are here? DC Kong stopped smiling, his entire aura became sinister. Either you die or you agree. There is no other choice. What if I insist on the 3rd choice? Sima Yue asked. Then you will pay the price for your choice. Gongzi Yuan or this beauty, you can choose for yourself. DC Kong threatened. Unfortunately, I won't choose either. Sima Yue said. Then I will choose for you. Don't you have a grudge with this beauty? She is fine. After DC Kong finished speaking, a spiritual power with the strength of Underworld Venerable immediately attacked Xiao Ruabai. Chapter 1862. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Read Book Web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. No matter how heaven-defying Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruobai were, their age was still there. They had not reached the level of underworld emperor, so there was no way to avoid this attack. Xiao Ruobai found that she was locked in place and couldn't move at all. It was impossible to move even if she wanted to. She watched the spiritual power getting closer and closer, and felt the footsteps of death getting closer and closer. She should have closed her eyes so that she wouldn't be so scared, but she couldn't control herself and watched it get closer and closer. The aura of death, despair, unwillingness. Just when she thought she was going to step into death, a hand grabbed her hand. The hand was full of strength, trust, concern, and hope. Then Sima Yoyue's familiar back stood on her side, blocking the approach of death. Then she saw her condense spiritual power, and disperse the spiritual power attacking her. Everyone present was stunned. She had actually received Ming Zun's attack so easily. Sima Yue turned her head and smiled at Xiao Ruobai, saying, "Don't worry, I will protect you." The tears in Xiao Ruobai's eyes finally fell uncontrollably. Sima Yue reached out and wiped it for her. Holding her hand, she faced DC Kong again. DC Kong quickly recovered from the shock and said, "I didn't expect you to have reached the strength of Underworld Senior. This really surprised me. No wonder you dare to come alone." A black dragon, a mutated dog, plus her own strength. It was enough to make her confident. "It's not that I want to come alone, but you didn't give me a chance to bring people," Sima Yue said. "However, do you think you can take them away like this? I don't think you are so naive, right?" DC Kong said. "If we can make peace, naturally we don't have to fall out with each other, right?" Sima Yue said. "However, if you hurt my friends, there is no need for us to talk anymore." "Do you think you can get out like this?" Didi Kong said. "Smart people know that a wise man submits to circumstances. It's not worth it for you to die here." 15 in the southwest, 10 in the southeast, 10 in the north, and 12 in the west. The weakest is at the emperor of the underworld. Am I right? Sima Yue named the people who were hiding in the courtyard one by one. Didi Kong's expression became more and more serious as she spoke. She could actually clearly identify the people in the courtyard. How did she know? Sima Yue looked at him and continued. "Besides that, there are hundreds of people guarding outside, right? I didn't expect your senses to be so powerful. However, just because you can discover them doesn't mean you can leave." Didi Kong said, "Since you know the people here, then you should understand that with your little strength, it is no different from hitting a stone with an egg. It was better not to make a futile struggle. This will save us a lot of trouble." Xiao Ruobai and Gongzi Yuan became nervous when they heard their conversation. Could they leave under such circumstances? Sima Yue gave the two of them a reassuring expression, and then said to Didi Kong, "What if I insist on leaving? Without backup, what can you do?" Didi Kong said, "What I can't get has never been allowed to exist in this world. So we can only fight." Sima Yue sighed. "However, you are wrong about one thing." "What?" "I didn't come alone," Sima Yue said. "My little friends can't wait to come out." After that, she called out all her beasts. Little Seven, Little Dream, Huahua, Little Golden Snake, Little Rock, Chongming, Yaguang, Black Emi Air, Hei Yen, and Little Purple. 11 beasts appeared around her, startling everyone. "Damn, Sheer, you have so many contract beasts." Gongzi Yuan almost jumped up in surprise. Xiao Ruobai was also not calm. She never knew that Yue had so many contract beasts. Didi Kong looked at these contract beasts, and was not particularly surprised. Instead he laughed. "You really are not Morongshi. Some of these contract beasts are from the human realm. If I'm not wrong, you are the daughter of the Dark Princess Sima Yue, right? Aren't you waiting to confirm your guess?" Sima Yue said. "Now it proves that your guess is correct." "Hehe, you really know. Then why did you call out all these contract beasts to confirm your identity?" Didi Kong said. "Of course it's because I didn't intend for you to spread this news." Sima Yue looked at them. "As long as you can't get out, how can this news spread?" "Ha ha ha. I used to think that I was a confident person. I didn't expect that there would be someone more confident than me. Do you think that with these contract beasts of yours, you can break out of my encirclement?" That depends on who is encircled. Sima Yue smiled at him, and that smile gave him a bad premonition in his heart. Master, our space here is sealed. A guard appeared from the space and knelt beside Didi Kong. What did you do? Didi Kong looked at Sima Yue. One of my favorite things to do is to close the door and beat the dog. Sima Yue said. You know so much about me, don't you know this? Huan, thank you. Huan appeared in the air with his hands crossed over his chest, and looked at the situation below indifferently. With your strength, you want to resist us. The maid who led her in shouted. Didi Kong did not have such confidence. He looked at Huan and estimated his strength in his heart. To be able to isolate the space of the entire courtyard from the outside, this strength was not something that ordinary people could do. So this Huan must be a guy who was not to be trifled with. You don't have to look at him like that. He is only responsible for closing the door, not beating the dog. Sima Yue said. It just so happens that after arriving in the ghost realm, the beasts haven't had a good time. This time, you guys can have fun. Oh my god, we can finally have fun. Little Seven clenched her fists. My little grandaunt's fists are going to rust. Still the same as before? Hua Hua waved her rattan, and a man-eating flower bloomed on it. The sharp teeth in the flower shone with a cold light. Good. Little Dream agreed. Why are you guys talking so much nonsense? I'll go first. Hei Yin spread his wings and attacked the people hiding in the southwest corner. As soon as she moved, the other beasts also moved. Only Little Purple lazily lay in Sima Yue's arms and yawned. Sima Yue condensed a protective circle to surround the three of them to prevent them from being hurt by the aftermath of the attack. You damn woman. The maid left Didi Kong's wheelchair and flew toward Sima Yue with her sword raised. If I don't show my power, do you think I'm a useless cat? Little Purple looked at the woman and snorted coldly, waving her cat paws casually. Chapter 1863. 1 second to remember, love divided by you. Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Little Purple only waved its little claw. Everyone didn't put it in their eyes, nor did they put its little claw in their eyes. However, after it waved its claw, a bolt of lightning directly struck the maid, and turned her into a piece of black charcoal. Everyone else was stunned. How could there be lightning here? Phew. I hate people who don't take me seriously the most. Little Purple blew its paw, and then lay down in Sima Yue's arms again. Here it comes, I knew this kind of thing would happen when Little Purple makes a move. Little Seven rolled his eyes, venting his unhappiness of being robbed of the limelight on these people. As long as it doesn't strike us. Hei Yin was helpless against Little Purple, who let it be afraid of lightning. If you have time to be in a daze, it's better to kill 2 more people. Little Meng didn't feel anything about this. Whose limelight wasn't you use? There was nothing to fight for. In the ghost realm, we really can't match its advantage. Little Peng thought about how he was once a popular figure in the human realm. Unlike now, no one paid attention to him. Chongming smiled helplessly. These guys. The beasts continued to fight after complaining, but Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Rua by beside Yue couldn't take it anymore. They were stimulated. As a ghost clan, they were deeply affected by the lightning just now. Until now, they could still feel the burning pain of the lightning element attached to their bodies. They had seen Little Purple in Eternal Brilliance City, but they didn't expect it to be such a powerful beast. With this lightning, at least half of them would be killed. DC Kong looked at Little Purple in shock. He knew that there was a purple kitten beside Sima Yue, but he didn't expect it to be able to use lightning. What kind of beast is this? It's so. The word powerful was stuck in his throat. This was not a good thing for him. Since I dare to come to you alone, I don't have the courage to do so without some strength. Sima Yue stroked Little Z. I gave you a chance to leave quietly, but you forced me to choose this way. DC Kong's face was as ugly as constipation. How did he know that there was such a perverted person like her in the world? He had noticed Sima Yue the first time she went to the underworld artifact shop. At that time, his intuition was that this Murong she was not an ordinary person at all. That was why he sent people to investigate her. As one of the top forces in the world of spirits and souls, The information he found was much more detailed than others. The difference between the events before and after was too great. No matter how he looked at it, it didn't seem like the same person. That was why he made such a guess. He was indeed sharper than the average person. He guessed the beginning but not the end. Who knew that she had so many beasts, and they were so powerful? You think you can harm my Yu? Black lava swept his tail. And Diddy Kong flew up with the wheelchair, and landed not far away. At the same time, a few guards flew to his side to protect him. The other guards attacked He Yin together. Other beasts had their own opponents. Black lava was besieged by so many powerful people, and he was at a disadvantage for a while. His tail was cut several times. You stay here and don't go out, Sima Yue said to the two of them, put little Z on her shoulder, and went out of the protective circle. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruobai wanted to say that it was too dangerous outside, but she had already gone out, and the two of them couldn't follow. Staying inside at this time was the only way he wouldn't drag her down. Sima Yue flew over, and those people saw that it was little Z on her shoulder and retreated. Yu, they burned my butt with fire. Black lava acted coquettishly to Sima Yue. Burned your butt with fire? Are they bullying us because we don't have fire? Sima Yue snorted coldly. Her right hand spread out, and a flame suddenly burst out from her hand. As soon as little birdie came out, it was very excited. Before Sima Yue could speak, it flew out and kept flying in the air. After sleeping for so long, it could finally fly around again. What kind of flame is this? Why is the temperature so high? The people of Ghost Clan shouted. This is the Nirvana flame. Of course the temperature is high. Black lava snorted. Don't you like to burn me with fire? I'll let you have a taste of being burned by fire. Little birdie, go, burn their butts. Little birdie happily turned around twice, and then flew a few laps around the people who had just besieged Little Black Dragon. Those people didn't even have time to scream before they directly turned into ashes. Its move shocked all the people present. There was such a powerful flame. This is the flame of the divine bird Vermilion Bird? Dixie Kong looked at Sima Yue, and he regretted provoking her. It seems that you don't know much about me, Sima Yue said. If you know me a little more, you should know that my contract beast is the divine bird Vermilion Bird. What? Perhaps my current strength isn't enough to compete with Dixie family or Aniheim, but it's more than enough to deal with you, Sima Yue said. Dixie Kong, you're very powerful to be able to guess my identity, but at the same time, you're too conceited. You're confident that you can easily catch me. It seems that I've made a big mistake, Dixie Kong said, but you've also made a mistake. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Your people are very powerful, but they're all your contract beasts. So, as long as I kill you, they'll naturally disappear. Dixie Kong finished speaking and quickly condensed his spiritual power, attacking Sima Yue. You think that only you know how to use underworld techniques? Sima Yue's hands formed a seal, and her spiritual power turned into a big net that trapped Dixie Kong's spiritual power, and then dissipated into spiritual power. Inescapable net. This is an underworld technique that only Lord Mo knows. How did you know it? Dixie Kong shouted. Of course he taught me. Don't you know that I have a good relationship with him? Sima Yue finished speaking and formed another net, heading towards Dixie Kong's net. Xiao Ruobai and Gongzi Yuan saw Sima Yue throwing out one spirit technique after another, and her spiritual power seemed to be endless. When I met her, she was still a little girl without any spiritual power, and now she has left us far behind. Gongzi Yuan sighed. Indeed, she's beyond our reach, whether it's her strength or her identity. Xiao Ruobai murmured. Gongzi Yuan looked sideways at Xiao Ruobai, patted her on the shoulder, and said, the matter between you and Shir is already like this. You know yourself, it's not hard to blame her. Besides, she has done so much for you and us. Why don't we just let this matter go? Can we go back? Xiao family can't come back, can we still go back? Xiao Ruobai looked at Sima Yue. We can't go back, Yuan. I can't go back with her. Chapter 1864. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web no pop-up window, free to read. With the addition of little birdie, the beasts fought more easily. Soon, the people in the entire courtyard were killed by them. When the last person was killed, Sima Yue came back and removed the protective shield she had set up. Are you all right? We are naturally fine. Gongzi Yuan said. How are you? DC Kong's strength can't hurt me. Sima Yue smiled. Gongzi, the commandery prince has already brought people over. I still have something to do, so I will leave first. Gongzi Yuan stopped her. He wanted to talk about her and Xiao Ruabai, but he didn't know how to say it. Sima Yue looked at Ruabai and said to Gongzi Yuan, Ruabai probably has nowhere to go. You take good care of her. If you want to stay in Du, the second prince is a better support. You can go directly to him. Xiao Ruabai opened her mouth but didn't say anything. At this time, the sound of footsteps and voices came from outside the courtyard. Sima Yue nodded to the two and put away the beasts. She came to Huan's side in the air, looked back at the two, and slowly disappeared from the air. When the others rushed over, all they saw was a scene of devastation, and the two people in the courtyard who had yet to recover from the shock. Young master, are you all right? Gongzi Yuan's attendant ran over, and saw his young master standing in the courtyard in a daze. He hurriedly ran over and hugged him, howling, Young master! You have been missing for 2 days. You scared me to death. Young master, are you all right? Are you hurt anywhere? Gongzi Yuan pushed him away and said helplessly, You are hugging me so tightly. How can I talk? Oh, young master. The attendant stepped back and looked at him nervously. Young master. A guard came over. Are you all right? We are fine. Where is this? The guard glanced around. These ruins had experienced a great battle. My friend saved us just now. I will tell father and Wang Ye about the rest. Gongzi Yuan said. Yes. When Wang Ye found out that you were missing, they also sent their guards out to search for you. The guard said. But we received news that you were here, so we rushed over. Gongzi Yuan guessed that Sima Yue must have asked B to inform them after knowing that they were here. Let's go. Since Wang Ye still sent people to look for us when they're so busy, we should go and tell them that we're safe. After he finished speaking, he looked at Xiao Ruabai. I was caught before I told you what I wanted to say. What she said before she left was what I wanted to say. Come with me. Whether you follow me or the second prince, it's not a good time for you to leave alone. She doesn't want anything to happen to you. Xiao Ruabai was a little hesitant, but when she heard his last sentence, she nodded. Okay. After Sima Yue left, she appeared at the city gate and walked back alone. As soon as she entered the city gate, she saw Murong Hui and others rushing out. She quickly stopped them. Father! Cheer! Murong Hui saw her and quickly stopped the underworld beast. He jumped down and said, Sure, are you okay? Father, I'm fine. Sima Yue shook her head. Didn't I tell someone to inform you that I'm fine, and that you don't have to look for me? The 2 guards of the Wang Ye mansion came back, and said that you left with someone else. How could they stay there? Wang Ye asked me to come back. I only met Mingda and the others on the way. How could I not come out to look for you when you're gone? Murong Hui said, Fortunately, you're fine. How could I go with someone so easily? Naturally, I'm confident. Besides, I have Huan with me. With him, I'll be fine. Sima Yue said. Who caught you? Murong Hui asked. Let's talk about it when we see Wang Ye. Sima Yue said. Murong Hui knew that the person who caught her must have something to do with this matter. He nodded and said, Then let's go. When they arrived at the Wang Ye mansion, Gongzi Yuan and the others had not returned yet. The guard led them directly to Wang Ye's study. Du Wang Ye, Yu Yan and a few others were discussing things inside. Knowing that she was back, Wang Ye directly asked someone to bring them in. Xie, are you injured? Yu Yan asked. Sima Yue shook her head and bowed to Du Wang Ye. Wang Ye, there are some things I need to report to you. Du Wang Ye trusted her very much now. Seeing her say this, he said to the others in the study, You can leave first. We'll discuss the rest later. Those people were a little surprised that Sima Yue had such a high status in front of Du Wang Ye. It was even better than Murong Hui. They didn't dare to say anything to Wang Ye, and all got up and left. After they went out, Yu Yan asked, "Sheer, who caught you?" CD Kong. Sima Yue said. From this point of view, the CD family should also be involved in this matter. The CD family? That's right. Sima Yue said. Although CD Kong is not the young master of the CD family, he is also the leader of the younger generation. It is definitely not a coincidence that he came here at this time. But we didn't find anyone from the CD family this time, Yu Yan said. Maybe the overall situation has been decided, and they are not willing to waste more power to come in, Sima Yue said. But this is just my guess. I don't believe in too many coincidences. Especially when they had brought so many people with them. Your intuition has always been very accurate. Since you said so, we should also pay attention to these things, Yu Wangya said. The CD family has always been Anaheim's right-hand man. This time, it is also planned by Anaheim's people. It is very likely that the CD family will be involved. Yu Yan also believed what she said. They probably did it secretly before, but now that the main forces of the princess consort have been removed by us, they can't do anything. After we settle these, we don't have to be afraid of the CD family. Well, we don't have to worry about this for now, Sima Yue said. The people that CD Kong brought were all killed. All killed? Yes, so the CD family can't reach here for now, Sima Yue said. But whether we can live well in the future depends on how high CD Kong's position in the CD family is. We are not very clear about the internal affairs of the CD family, Yu Wangya said. We should know after asking around, Yu Yan said. As long as we pay attention to them in the future, it will be easier to find out. Sima Yue thought of Di Wu Yi in the Spirit Pagoda, and asked him if he knew anything. Chapter 1865. After a while, Gongzi Yuan and the others returned. Wang Ye asked someone to bring them in. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai came in, and were stunned when they saw Sima Yue. Then they returned to normal and saluted Yu Wangya together. I've already heard about your situation from Xier. It's good that you're safe, Yu Wangya said. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai didn't know what Sima Yue said, so they couldn't say much. They could only vaguely say, I heard from the people in the county that Wang Ye sent people to look for us when he was so busy. Yuan and Ruabai thank Wang Ye for his concern. It's good that you're fine. You guys have been frightened this time. Go back and have a good rest. Yu Wangya was asking them to leave. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai bowed and left together. Sima Yue watched them leave and stood up to say to Yu Yan, Second Prince, I think you should have heard about the matter between me and Ruabai. If it's possible, I'd like you to take care of her for me. If she comes to me, I will, Yu Yan replied. Thank you, Second Prince. Sima Yue said gratefully. You've cured Imperial Father, and it's all thanks to your idea that we were able to resolve this matter. It's my duty to take care of someone for you, Yu Yan said. After the two sides exchanged some pleasantries, Wang Ye sent someone to send her back, while Morong Hui stayed to continue to deal with those things. Sima Yue felt that he would not return to Vast Region after this matter was over. Wang Ye would definitely find a way to make him stay. It wasn't a good idea to keep watching over there. One had to look forward, right? When they returned to the inn, the people from Vast Region surrounded them. When they saw that Sima Yue was fine, they finally relaxed. I told you that Miss would be fine, Zhang Mingda said with a smile. I don't know who was the one who was so nervous that he didn't rest the whole night, and insisted on going out to look for him. Fang Yinghan tried to undermine him. Aren't you the same? Zhang Mingda snorted. Miss who took you away? The fourth family, Sima Yue said. The fourth family? They're probably here for Wang Ye and father. However, it wasn't a big deal. I'm a little tired, so I'm going back to my room to rest. You should take a rest too, Sima Yue said and went to her room. After returning to the house, she set up a barrier and flashed into the spirit pagoda. Little spirit, bring Di Wu Yi here, she ordered. Little spirit brought Di Wu Yi over. He was still the same as before, there were no changes. If she had not met the people from the fourth family this time, She would not have remembered Diwu Yi whom she had locked up for so long. Just because she couldn't remember, it didn't mean that others couldn't either. During this period of imprisonment, he and her father, Sima Luxian, had become chess friends. Mississippi, when Diwu Yi saw her, he still bowed respectfully. Diwu Yi, do you know where we are now? Do you know who I met today? Sima Yue asked. Diwu Yi was a little surprised. Where was this place? How would he know? Sima Yue did not really want him to say it, so she continued. We're in Diyu City now. I met CD Kong today. What? Diwu Yi widened his eyes in shock. We're already in the ghost realm? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. CD Kong is ruthless. He didn't do anything to you, right? Diwu Yi asked worriedly. I'm fine, he's not. He wanted to catch me, but he lost his life in the end, Sima Yue said. Ah. He's dead? Didn't he always bring a lot of people when he went out? He was actually killed too. Yes, he was burned to death by Xiao Berke. Sima Yue said. I called you here today to ask you about the Fourth and Diwu family. Diwu Yi kept his shocked heart and told her everything he knew about the two families. He actually wanted to beg for mercy from the Diwu family, but he knew her position. She would definitely fight to the death with Aniheim. And it was impossible for the family not to follow Aniheim. Sima Yue saw him like that, and knew what he was thinking. If your family doesn't stop me in the future, I won't be so ruthless. She was giving him the biggest favor. Diwu Yi was still very grateful. He bowed to her and said, Thank you, Mississippi. You've stayed here for so long. Have you thought about going out? Sima Yue asked. Go out. Diwu Yi's eyes flashed with a touch of passion, and then it disappeared. He shook his head and said, I can't go out. If I go out, they'll recognize me, and they'll know your identity. I'm doing quite well here. It's already a blessing that Miss didn't kill me. Sima Yue was a little surprised by his thoughts. She didn't expect him to think this way. You stay here first. If there's a chance in the future, I'll let you go out for a walk. She let Little Spirit take him away after she finished speaking. At this time, Sima Luxian walked over. Seeing her frown, he asked, What are you worried about? Father, I'm thinking about the forces around Aniheim. She had quite a lot of forces before she became the Ghost Empress, and she's developed even more these years. I'm afraid it's not that easy to take her down. Sima Yue voiced out her worries. What did he tell you? Sima Luxian asked. He told me about the forces around Aniheim. Because he followed you, he knows a lot of things that others don't know. Sima Yue said. I can only say that Aniheim is much more powerful than what we know. You killed her son. She wants to kill you. This hatred can't be resolved. She's so powerful. You're not bad either. Sima Luxian rubbed her head. You have so much spirit power from the ancestor. You're also a member of the 9th Underworld clan. And you have such a good relationship with the people of the underworld. Moreover, the Ghost King is your grandfather after all. If it's really like what your cousin said, then the Ghost King isn't as bad as you think. Father, do you mean that you want me to go and find the Ghost King? Sima Yue asked. You haven't even seen him. How do you know if he's good or not? Sima Luxian said with a smile. You always have preconceived notions, and your heart will resist accepting some people. Sima Yue pursed her lips. All right, she was indeed a little resistant. So she didn't plan to accept the Sima family from the beginning. Now she didn't plan to accept the Ghost King as her grandfather. I'll see how the situation goes later. If he's really good to Mother, it's okay to accept him. If it's not like what we think, the ghost realm doesn't belong to him alone. As long as you're happy. Sima Luxian never forced her to do what she wanted to do. Thank you, Father. Sima Yue hugged his arm. When the region competition is over, I'm afraid the peaceful days before will come to an end. Chapter 1866. Nothing else happened in the next 2 days. She had thought that the county competition would be postponed because of the Wang Fei's matter. What surprised Sima Yue even more was that the people who had been taken away after the county competition had also come. Father, they. Morong Hui saw the people she was referring to and understood what she meant. He said, they are all resources. Wang Ye asked them to choose between death and loyalty, and they all made the wise choice. Sima Yue understood. She guessed that they had to swear loyalty to the dynasty so that they could survive. After the last round, there were 152 people. Although the number of people had decreased, the competition had become more exciting. Before the competition began, Yu the Great, Wang Ye, the second prince, and 2 other princes walked in. Although no one knew about the chaos last time, the news still spread later. Therefore, when they saw that Wang Ye and the second prince were in good health, no one was surprised. However, they were still curious about who had cured them. Wang Ye stood on the rostrum and said to the contestants below, "Everyone here is an elite that has been carefully selected. Losing even one person is a huge loss. So from today onwards, the rules of the competition will be changed. Don't go overboard and don't kill anyone." Everyone understood that the previous rules were changed by the princess consort. Now that the princess consort's matter was resolved, the rules naturally had to be changed back. He just felt sorry for those who had died. Sima Yue and Fang Yinghan went to draw their own numbers, and then went to the referee to register. Morongshi. A man dressed in black stood beside her. When he saw her number, he said, "I'm looking forward to our competition." Sima Yue looked up at him. "Yu Tianran, shall we team up?" "Yes." Yu Tianran took out his number plate. It was the same number as Sima Yue's 70. "I'll be in your care then." Sima Yue smiled at him and left with Zhang Mingda and the others. "I didn't expect Mrs. Opponent to be Yu Tianran." Zhang Mingda looked back at him as he spoke, and then whispered to Sima Yue, "Miss, I heard that Yu Tianran is very powerful." "Yes. Mid-hellish emperor." Sima Yue said, 7 mid-stage underworld emperors. "I didn't think that I would be so lucky to meet one so soon." "Miss, from the looks of it, he seems to be very interested in you," Fang Yinghan said. "That's normal," Zhang Mingda said. "Now there are a few people who aren't interested in Mississippi. Everyone is probably thinking about Mrs. Strength right now." "You're right. Not only are they curious, but so are we." "Yes. Miss, why don't you tell us how strong you are now?" Zhang Mingda asked cheerfully. "What are you talking about? You will know when the time comes." Sima Yue did not intend to answer their questions. If she told them now, there was no mystery to speak of. Besides, what if he scared them and made them unable to compete properly? Zhang Mingda looked at Sima Yue and pursed his lips. He complained softly, "Miss is so mean." Sima Yue smiled at him. Her meaning was obvious. "If I don't tell you, will you hit me?" Zhang Mingda felt stifled. Could he? Could he? Of course not. Therefore, he could only feel even more stifled. Soon the first batch of people entered. Now there were 60 people in 30 groups. Sima Yue watched the first batch of people compete. Because there was no Wang Fei behind the scenes, everyone's competition was much more gentle. However, it was also much more exciting. It seemed that the region competition had only just begun. Sima Yue watched each group's competition seriously. Some of them might be her next opponent. Although she was very confident in herself, she preferred to know herself and her opponents. An hour later, the first 30 groups finished. The second group of 30 went up. Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda were both here. Unfortunately, neither of them were able to advance to the next round. Now the results of vast region were all on Sima Yue. Zhang Mingda and Fang Yinghan came back. Both of them were a little dazed. If it was Ziping, he could advance to the next round. But he didn't have the chance. Zhang Mingda said with self-blame, "It doesn't matter. You have tried your best." Moronghui said, "This result is much better than in previous years. You both met the Emperor of the Underworld. Just work harder in the future." Sima Yue also comforted them. "Although we were eliminated, this is much better than we expected before we came." Zhang Mingda said, "After a while, we can see Mrs. Competition. I'm looking forward to it." Sima Yue glanced at him. This guy's mood changed too quickly. More than an hour later, the second batch was completely over. The remaining 16 groups entered the realm of emptiness after receiving their talismans. Because the number of people was only half of the previous group, everyone could watch their competition better. After Yu Tianran entered the realm of emptiness, he flew in the air and waited for Sima Yue. When he saw Sima Yue walk in, he waved his hand and said, "I know you can fly." Sima Yue smiled. With a tap of her toes, she flew into the air and faced Yu Tianran. "I guessed correctly," Yu Tianran said. "Miss Morong, please." Sima Yue saw that he didn't call out his contract beast, and she didn't call out He Yin either. The two of them fought with their underworld skills. When the people outside saw that she didn't call out He Yin, they were very surprised. They thought that she would use He Yin all the way to the end. Look at the speed of her underworld skills, it's so fast. Those underworld skills seem to be very easy. This was the first time that everyone saw her use underworld skills, and they were surprised by her speed. Look at her underworld skills, they are not of an ordinary grade. Yu Tianran is a mid-stage emperor of the underworld, but she doesn't seem to be at a disadvantage. It seems that she really has the ability, and she doesn't just rely on her contract beast. Sima Yue was in the realm of emptiness, so she couldn't hear the discussions outside. However, she could guess what their expressions would be when they saw her using underworld skills. This Yu Tianran's ability was not weak, and his speed of using underworld skills was faster than the average person. In order to not expose too much of her ability, she could only deal with him at the beginning. The difference between them wasn't very big. After that, when there was a gap, she teleported and appeared behind Yu Tianran. She placed her long sword on his shoulder and ended the battle. Yu Tianran hadn't finished using his underworld skills, and he felt the cold temperature of the long sword. He was a little unwilling, but he still dispersed his spiritual power and said, "I lost." Sima Yue kept her long sword. "Thank you for letting me win." Yu Tianran turned around and clasped his hands towards Sima Yue. "You really have hidden your abilities well. Tell me the truth, you're more powerful than this, right?" Chapter 1867. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Yu Tianran could feel that Sima Yue was holding back when she was fighting with him. Sima Yue smiled at him and said, "This is a secret." After that, she took out the talisman and crushed the realm of emptiness. Yu Tianran was fascinated by her smile. After she went out, he took out the talisman and went out. The two went to the referee to register, and then went back. "Miss Morong." Yu Tianran called her. Sima Yue looked back at him. "Is there anything else?" "There are two people, Jiang Yuan and LV Liangchen. I'm afraid they are hiding their strength. If you encounter them, be careful," Yu Tianran said. "Well, I know, thank you." Sima Yue felt his kindness and thanked him before leaving. She had noticed the two people he mentioned before. At that time, she felt that these two people should be hiding their strength. But so what? In terms of hiding strength, who could compare with her? Gongzi Yuan was in the last batch and won by a narrow margin, and advanced to the next round. In the next two rounds of the competition, 76-38 and 38-19, Sima Yue advanced without any suspense. When 19-10, because there was one more person, there was another person who advanced directly. Before Sima Yue went to draw lots, she said to Emoji who was sitting next to her, "If I get an empty number in this round, I will be in the top 10. Our agreement will be reached." "What if you don't get it?" Emoji asked. "Then I will fight into the top 10. Anyway, the ending will be the same," Sima Yue said. "Then let's wait and see." Emoji smiled faintly. He was actually looking forward to it. Later, Sima Yue went to draw a number. Seeing her number, she was not disappointed. Sure enough, it was not so easy to draw an empty number. The first group enters the realm of emptiness. The referee shouted. Sima Yue was not number 1, but she was also resting in the rest area. While he was watching the match, he saw a person running in from outside in a hurry. To be able to enter even after the venue was closed, this person's identity was definitely not ordinary. She thought that this person would come to Wangya, but she didn't expect that he would go directly to vast region, come to Emoji's side, and whisper something in his ear after saluting. After listening to his words, Emoji's face changed slightly, then he nodded and said, "I know," and sent him away. Sima Yue was guessing in her heart what he was so concerned about. Before she could think of an answer, she heard the referee call for the second group of players to enter the realm of emptiness. Sima Yue took the talisman and went in. Her opponent was Jiang Yuan, whom Yu Tianran had mentioned to her before. Jiang Yuan looked at Sima Yue and said, "I didn't expect to meet you. It seems like my luck isn't that good." Sima Yue smiled. "You also hid your strength, didn't you? I don't know if my strength is enough in front of you. No matter what, I have to give it a try." Jiang Yuan had noticed Sima Yue's strength for a long time, and it was definitely not like what she showed. He didn't expect to be so unlucky to meet her at this time. But it was not his personality to give up directly, so he still intended to fight with all his strength. "Please." Sima Yue waved her hand. The other party did not call for a contract beast, so she did not call He Yin out. Just like the previous 2 times, she only used her own spiritual power. Jiang Yuan's strength was much stronger than Yu Tianran's. Although the two seemed to be about the same before, when he released his strength, his combat effectiveness was 2 levels higher. However, this was not much of a difference for Sima Yue. She could easily deal with it without exposing her strength as an underworld senior. The more Jiang Yuan fought, the more shocked he became. He had overestimated her strength, but he didn't expect that she was much stronger than he thought. If he didn't pay attention to his combat ability, he would have been beaten down by her long ago. Sima Yue glanced outside and saw that Emoji looked a little anxious. She wanted to end it quickly, so she changed her underworld skill and used the inescapable net that she had used before. The huge inescapable net trapped Jiang Yuan, and it slowly shrank under Sima Yue's control. After destroying his defensive layer, it stopped. Jiang Yuan felt the power contained in the net. If it continued to shrink, he would be seriously injured. He wanted to use teleportation to leave, but he found that the space he was in had been frozen by her, and he couldn't leave. He had no choice but to admit that he had lost. Sima Yue dispersed the inescapable net, said that she had offended him, and crushed the talisman to leave the realm of emptiness. Emoji recognized Sima Yue when she used the inescapable net. She actually knew the underworld skill of the old ancestor. The old ancestor taught her but not him. Therefore, when Sima Yue came back after registering, she was faced with Emoji's somewhat sad eyes. "What's wrong with you?" Sima Yue asked. "The old ancestor taught you underworld skills," Emoji said. "Yes, when we were in the human world, he said that if I taught him how to make tea, he had to teach me something, so he taught me a lot of underworld skills," Sima Yue said. "A lot?" Emoji was not calm. "Ahem, well, did that person look for you for something?" Sima Yue changed the topic. Looking at him like this, Emoyu probably didn't teach him much before. This feeling was really like snatching a child's candy. "Well, I don't think I can wait until your competition is over." Emoji's expression became serious when he talked about business. "There's a situation at the Nirvana River. I have to rush over immediately." And her competition still had several rounds before it was over. "I'll go with you," Sima Yue blurted out without thinking. "But what about your competition?" "I'll discuss it with my father. We won't compete in the following competitions," Sima Yue said. "Now that we're in the top 10, it's already good for vast region. As for the final ranking, it doesn't matter much." She didn't know why, but she always felt that if she didn't go to the Nirvana River this time, she would regret it. Emoji actually felt that this kind of competition was meaningless. Since she said so, he agreed. "Then you can discuss it with Wang Ye and see what he thinks." Sima Yue went to Morong Hui's side and told him about this matter and her plan. Morong Hui only hesitated for a while before agreeing. If she wanted to do her own things, he would not stop her. He took her to find Du Wang Ye and told them about her leaving. "Are you really leaving?" Du Wang Ye asked. Sima Yue nodded. She had already made a decision. "You know, after the region competition, we will let the top-ranked people go to the imperial capital to participate in the dynasty competition. If you can come back in time, I still hope you can participate," Du Wang Ye said. "I'll leave a place for you here." Sima Yue wanted to say no, but Wang Ye's words made her change her mind. He said, "If you want to go to the imperial capital, it's better to have an identity." Chapter 1868. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Read book web. Update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue accepted Wang Ye's kindness, but she didn't say anything. She just said that if she could rush back, she would go. If she couldn't, there was no need to leave a place for her. Then she said goodbye to Morong Hui and left with emoji directly from the arena. When the people in vast region learned that she had left, they were all disappointed and couldn't digest the news for a long time. How can she leave just like that? Miss is different from us. She won't stay in one place forever. Sigh, miss, I can't bear to part with her. Morong Hui heard their words and felt a little sad in his heart. Since she came to the ghost realm, he had been taking her with him. Now she had also flown out. After the end of the competition, Wang Ye announced this to everyone. The list of the top 10 in this region competition has come out. Congratulations to those who have advanced. Here, I have a piece of news to announce. Morong Shi has left the competition because of some things. So in the following competition, only 9 people will compete for the top 9 places. This piece of news caused an uproar in the entire venue. She left just like that? She didn't want to participate in the following competition? With her strength, they were afraid that she would get more than the 10th place. They were really curious about what kind of thing made her willing to give up the competition. Xiao Ruabai and Gongzi Yuan, who were sitting in the audience, were shocked by the news. She left just like that. Xiao Ruabai was a little disappointed. She had a feeling that if she left today, they would really not have any intersection in the future. She didn't even tell us that she left. Gongzi Yuan complained in a low voice to hide the sadness in his heart. After all, she left so suddenly that they were not prepared at all. This news was too unexpected, and they all needed to digest this matter. At this time, Sima Yue had already left Diyu City with Emoji and Huan. They sat on Emoji's flying beast and flew to the Nirvana River. Emoji, why don't we use the teleportation array? Sima Yue asked. I don't like the teleportation array that many people have used. Emoji replied. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. What kind of weird fetish was this? Another kind of mysophobia? Then why don't you make your own teleportation array? I heard from Yuan Yen that your array formation is quite powerful. I've run out of those long-distance formation stones. I'm waiting for them to send more to me. Sima Yue. Was this even possible? I used to think that this young master of the Mo clan was quite good, but now it seems that he also has a bunch of quirks. How long will we be flying like this? She asked again. A few years. It will be soon when they bring the things here. Emoji said. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. That's a waste of time. Why don't you help me set up the teleportation array? I have a lot of array stones. Emoji thought for a second and agreed. This was indeed a waste of time. They came to an empty space and Sima Yue took out a pile of array stones. Emoji helped her set up the array formation together. Sima Yue saw the undisguised arrangement of the array formation and laughed. Aren't you afraid that I will learn your method? Emoji glanced at her plaintively and said, the old ancestor has taught you a bunch of his underworld skills. Am I afraid that you will learn my method? Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Why did she have to bring it up? I said. Emoji stopped what he was doing, looked at her and asked, what else did the old ancestor do for you? What? Sima Yue didn't understand what he meant. He asked me to protect you and teach you underworld skills personally. Did he do anything else for you? Let you become a member of the Mo clan, or give you something else? Emoji asked plaintively. No. Sima Yue understood this guy's mood. We didn't get along for a long time, so he didn't teach me much. He asked you to protect me. Isn't this actually discussed with you? If you don't want to, he definitely won't force you. He won't force me, he will just tell others about it. After saying that, he sighed. The old ancestor is so easy to bribe. Why didn't those people understand before? How can it be so easy? Do you know when your old ancestor first saw me, he was going to kill me? Sima Yue complained. Really? Of course. He said that he wanted to kill me for Aniheim. The strength of your old ancestor is not something that I can resist. Fortunately, I know how to make tea and have more tea leaves in my hands, so I was able to come back with my life. Sima Yue said so pitifully, which made Emoji feel better. Although it wasn't so good at the beginning, it was good in the end. Emoji said, "You have the underworld skills personally taught by the old ancestor, so you are his disciple. Even in the Emo clan, your status is very high." "I am his master," Sima Yue said. Emoji, the old ancestor of the Emo clan. It's not bad to be his disciple, and you still want to be his master? But if you say it, the old ancestor might really admit it. Alas, his heart was tired. He shook his head and continued to arrange the array. "By the way, what happened to the Nirvana River?" Sima Yue followed him out and didn't ask him what happened. "Could it be that my baby was born in advance?" Emoji rolled his eyes at her. "What baby?" "It's the people I left there, something happened." Emoji said, "But there is indeed news coming back, saying that the recent movements in the Nirvana River have been a little big." Is that baby coming out?" "I don't know." "Then what happened to your people?" Sima Yue asked. "It's said that every few days, there will be one less person, and there will be no bones left. But no matter how careful they are, it's still the same." When Emoji said this, he frowned slightly. That kind of feeling, it didn't seem like something that ordinary people could do. Could it be that they were taken away by the river god? Sima Yue said. "There is no river god in the Nirvana River." Emoji denied. "We'll know when we go and see." Then let's speed up." Sima Yue sped up her hands, and the two worked together and quickly arranged the array. "Huan, come here." She waved to Huan, and Huan, who had been silent, came over. The three of them stood in the teleportation array, and then disappeared. Because the distance was too far, they changed several teleportation arrays, and a month later, they finally arrived near the Nirvana River. The space near the Nirvana River is unstable, so we can't use the teleportation array for the rest of the journey, Emoji said. "Well, then let's take the flying beast." Sima Yue looked at the sky. She didn't know why, but when she felt here, the throbbing in her heart became more obvious. Could it be that there is really a treasure calling me? Chapter 1869. Remember in a second, love divided by you? Read book web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. After flying for a few days, they arrived at the Nirvana River. Apart from the wide Dead Sea, the Nirvana River looked no different from other rivers. Is this Nirvana River really connected to the River of Forgetfulness? I don't see any difference. Sima Yue asked Emoji. It doesn't look any different now, but the water is much lighter than ordinary river water. The closer we get to that area, the lighter the water is, and even feathers can't float in the end. Emoji explained. Then are we going to that area? We're near there. Emoji said. It's not far from here. Sima Yue saw many camps on the way, and every time they passed by, those people would look at them vigilantly. But after recognizing Emoji's flying beast, everyone respectfully retreated. The Emo clan has a very high status in the ghost realm. Sima Yue sighed. Emoji is the head of the 8 great aristocrats in the ghost realm, so his status is naturally very high. Emoji said proudly. Are the 8 great aristocrats all from the ghost realm? Sima Yue asked. 4 of them are, 3 are from the Soul Society, and 1 is from the Infernal Hell. Emoji said. There are also families in the Soul Society? Sima Yue was curious. Weren't those people with soul bodies? Could this kind of people marry and have children and reproduce a family? What are you thinking about? Emoji saw the light flashing in her eyes, and his head was full of black lines. Sima Yue smiled at him. Isn't this curious? Emoji rolled his eyes at her. The people of the Soul Clan can't carry on their ancestral line, but they will form a family. It's the same as forming a force, but the name is different. Then why not call it a force but a family? Sima Yue was puzzled anyway, wasn't it the same? Maybe this way they have a more sense of belonging. Emoji said, the Soul Clan in the Soul World have no previous memories, so it's easier to instill the idea of a family in them. You're right. I don't think many of them have memories. Sima Yue said, the head of the 8 great clans, your Emo clan is really powerful. Even so, isn't it still under the king's rule? Emoji was not complacent because of his family's status. Moreover, there are many hidden forces in the ghost realm. Those are really powerful. Do you admire them? It's not worship, but there is always something that I yearn for. Emoji said. The 9 Nether clan you mentioned last time, they are the real kings of the ghost realm. The 9 Nether clan used to be very powerful, but didn't they also decline now? It hasn't appeared for so many years. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Sima Yue said. Even if it doesn't exist anymore, it still makes people yearn for it. It's a kind of worship from the heart. After Emoji finished speaking, he sighed as if lamenting the decline of the 9 Nether clan. Sima Yue wanted to know something about the 9 Nether clan, but she couldn't talk to him more now, so she asked, "Can we go to that place and have a look?" There. Emoji shook his head. It's too dangerous there, we'd better not get close. Once we accidentally fall into the water, we won't be able to get up again. Oh. Sima Yue was a soul body. Even if she really fell into the water, she was not afraid. But she still didn't want to say it now and make him worry. After flying for a few days, they finally arrived at the place where the Mo clan camped. When the people of the Mo clan saw Emoji, their decadent aura was swept away, as if they had found their backbone. Young master, you're finally here. A middle-aged man came to the front of the crowd and saluted Emoji. This is Emojan, the steward of the clan. This is Sima Yue, the disciple of the ancestor, and her friend Huan. Emoji introduced the two people, and then asked, "How is the situation now?" Emojan was surprised when he heard Emoji say that Sima Yue was the disciple of the ancestor. Why haven't they heard of any disciple of the ancestor? In the face of Emoji's inquiry, he quickly restrained his mind and replied. Before, one person disappeared every 7 or 8 days, but now it has reached one every 5 days. It has been 3 days since the last time. In other words, another person will go missing in 2 days? Emoji said. Didn't any of you notice anything unusual before? We're ashamed, we really didn't. Emojan said. Since there are still 2 days, let's wait here. Sima Yue said. Maybe we can find something by then. She was very confident in Huan's strength. If there was really something, he should be able to find it. Emoji understood what she meant, and seeing that Huan didn't say anything, he agreed. Then let's wait for 2 days and see. Yes. Emojan responded. By the way, is this only happening here? What about other forces? Sima Yue asked. Almost every force has its own shame. It's just that the interval is different. Emojan replied. I see that there are still a lot of people along the way. Haven't they thought about leaving? The Nirvana River has been quite turbulent recently, and everyone is rumored to be about to be born. Now it's just a few people who are missing. How can it be compared to the enthusiasm for the treasure? Emojan replied. The last thing in the ghost realm is people. Sima Yue understood that there was no comparison between a few people dying and getting a treasure in the hearts of the living. Yue, you've been on the road for so long. Have a good rest today, and let's go around tomorrow. Emoji said. Sima Yue was indeed a little tired. Although she wanted to go to the river to have a look, she saw that Emoji still had something to tell Emojan and the others. He probably wouldn't agree to go out alone, so she and Huan went to find an empty space at the side of the camp to set up a tent. When the people of the Mo clan saw this, they all went up to help her, but she had nothing to do. Emojan looked in the direction of Sima Yue and asked, Young master, what is the origin of Sima Yue? How can she be the disciple of the ancestor? She is the child of the Dark Princess and the human race in the human world. It's not accurate to say that she is the disciple of the ancestor. She and the ancestor are both teachers and friends. She is the ancestor's master in the art of tea. The ancestor returned the favor and taught her a lot of underworld skills. Emoji was still brooding about this. Emojan was surprised. There was a rumor in the clan that the ancestor asked you to protect someone. Is it her? That's right. Go back and tell everyone to pay attention to her safety. If anything happens to her, the old ancestor will peel our skin and pull out our tendons. Emoji ordered. I see, I'll give the order in a while. Okay. Now, Tell me what happened during this period of time. Yes. Not long after Sima Yoyue's tent was set up, there was movement from the Nirvana River. It was said that the river was moving more than before. Chapter 1870. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read Book Web Quick Update. No pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue came out of the tent and came to Emoji's side and said excitedly, Is there a treasure coming out? No. I didn't sense the aura of a treasure. Emoji discouraged her enthusiasm. Then what's going on? Sima Yue asked. Something must have happened at the bottom of the Nirvana River and caused a battle. Emojan guessed. When Sima Yue heard that there was no treasure, her interest dropped by more than half, and she said, It can't be that there were only people fighting at the bottom of the river before, right? If that was the case, then her trip would have been in vain. No. Emojan said affirmatively. We did sense other auras. Okay then. Sima Yue looked at the surging river in the distance, and her mind was rippling. She wanted to go down and find out. She looked back at Huan behind her, only to see that Huan was in a daze, and his attention was not here. Huan, what are you thinking about? Sima Yue asked. Huan cut off the connection with the shadow and said, I'm thinking about what kind of underworld beast dares to duel at the bottom of the Nirvana River. Can't it? Sima Yue asked. The Nirvana River is connected to the River of Forgetfulness. Once the river here goes out of control, the water of the River of Forgetfulness will flow over. At that time, all the underworld beasts in the Nirvana River will drown. Huan explained. Drown? Sima Yue was amused by this statement. Can the underworld beasts in the water be drowned by the water? This drowning is naturally different from ordinary drowning. Huan said, The water of the River of Forgetfulness is gentle, and the underworld beasts of the Nirvana River can no longer survive in it. Okay. Then what if the water of the Nirvana River flows into the River of Forgetfulness? Sima Yue asked. This does not have much impact on the underworld beasts in the River of Forgetfulness, but they can no longer sink to the bottom of the river to live. Huan said, So it is important to ensure the stability of the two rivers. Does anyone care about this? No one used to. However, the underworld beasts living in this area understand this, so no one will fight at the bottom of the river at will. Huan said. Emojan looked at Huan in surprise. Who was he? He actually knew so much. Now there are actually underworld beasts fighting directly at the bottom of the river regardless of the danger. It seems that they have been forced into a corner. Emoj said. However, Sima Yue caught on to another point. Huan, you said that no one was in charge of it in the past. In other words, someone is in charge now. There seems to be something going on at the River of Forgetfulness. Huan didn't say it out loud as he muttered in his heart that the king was too much. He didn't even tell her about the situation now. When she found out that Wu Lingyu was on the other side of the River of Forgetfulness, and knew that he had become like this, she would definitely be angry. Should he run away in advance and get someone else to follow her? Forget it. When she gets angry, I'll just say that it was the king's orders and push all the blame to the king. She won't do anything to the king anyway. Sima Yue called out a few scarlet bees and sent them out to scout for information. Some flew to investigate the surrounding situation, while others flew to the mysterious area. However, as soon as the scarlet bees flew into the area, they lost contact, which made Sima Yue frown. What's the matter? Emoji asked with concern. I lost contact with my bees. Sima Yue said. I'm going to the river to have a look. There's too much movement over there today. Let's go tomorrow. Emoji said and promised. Don't worry. Today is definitely not the birth of a treasure. Although Sima Yue really wanted to see the situation over there, seeing Emoji repeatedly emphasizing it, she had to wait. At the same time, at the bottom of the river at the junction of the River of Forgetfulness and the Nirvana River, Wu Lingyu was fighting with a huge water snake. After a few rounds, the water snake was seriously injured and knew that it was no match for Wu Lingyu. So it turned around and fled towards the Nirvana River. Wu Lingyu watched as it ran away in a panic, and the corners of his mouth curled into a faint arc. Want to run? If you don't contribute your snake gallbladder today, how can you leave? After saying that, he raised his right hand and waved it a few times in the water. The water formed a whirlpool, and the huge suction force sucked the water snake back. You! How can you control the river water of the Nirvana River now? The water snake screamed in horror, as if it knew something incredible. The Nirvana River and the River of Forgetfulness are one. Since I can control the water of the River of Forgetfulness, what's the fuss about controlling the Nirvana River? Wu Lingyu said contemptuously, "Little water snake, are you going to obediently hand over your snake gallbladder? Or do I have to do it myself?" I'll do it myself. The water snake finally gave in and spat out one of its gallbladders. It had 2 gallbladders, which were the source of its power. If it handed it over and kept one, it could still live. At worst, it could just repair another gallbladder in the future. If he had done it himself, then it would have definitely been cut open, and it would have died without a doubt. An emerald green gallbladder came out of its mouth. With a wave of his hand, Wu Lingyu sucked the gallbladder into his hand. The water snake thought that he would eat its gallbladder, but it didn't expect that he would just take out a jade box and put the gallbladder inside. My lord, aren't you going to eat it?" It couldn't help but ask curiously. "Who said that I stole your gallbladder to eat it?" Wu Lingyu put away the box and glanced at it indifferently. "I'm taking it as a gift." After saying that, he turned and returned to the River of Forgetfulness. I've collected another good thing for you. Come and take it." When the water snake heard his sigh, it was immediately petrified. He stole its gallbladder to give it to someone who hadn't come to the River of Forgetfulness yet. It didn't know who had such good luck to receive this great demon king's affection. After losing a gallbladder, not only was it heartbroken, its strength was also greatly reduced. It had to go into seclusion to recover its strength as soon as possible. When it thought of this, it swam back to its snake nest. "What? You were also captured by the great demon king?" The water snake's neighbor, a small fish, swam over. "Yes. If I had known, I would have listened to you and not gone out at this time." The water snake was filled with regret. Ever since this great demon king came to the River of Forgetfulness, our Nirvana River has been in trouble, and he's so strong. Woo, why didn't someone come and take him? The small fish was heartbroken about its strength, but it was also helpless against Wu Lingyu. Now he can not only control the water of the River of Forgetfulness, but also the Nirvana River. Who can beat him now? The water snake thought of Wu Lingyu's strength and still had lingering fears. "Sigh, our days are really hard." A snake and a fish cried together. This scene was strange no matter how one looked at it. Wu Lingyu returned to the underwater palace where he usually stayed. Looking at the boxes that he had piled high, he sighed deeply, as if he wanted to spit out his longing. Unfortunately, it was useless. When will you come to the River of Forgetfulness?" Chapter 1871. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Reads Book Web. Update quickly, no pop-up window. Read for free. Sima Yue waited for a day before Emoji agreed to let her go to the river. "There are a lot of beasts in the water. You must not get too close." Emoji exhorted. "I know." Sima Yue nodded solemnly, muttering in her heart that he now had the potential to be an auntie. The 3 of them went to the river, but before they got into the water, they heard a commotion from the camp in the distance. "What's the matter?" Sima Yue looked in that direction and asked. "It looks like something has happened," Emoji said. Sima Yue contacted her bee, and after hearing the news from the bee, she said with a solemn face, "It seems that we can't leave the camp today. Let's go and see what's going on over there," Emoji said. "No need to go." Sima Yue pulled him. "They just found out that another person is missing." "Another person is missing?" Emoji frowned. "We didn't see anything just now. We didn't pay attention. We didn't expect that thing to come and catch people today." Sima Yue said, "We are not far from those people. I think maybe they will attack the Mo clan. Let's go back and have a look." Emoji was the young master of the Mo clan. He was very concerned about the safety of his people. Okay. When Sima Yue heard the news, she knew that she couldn't leave today. so she obediently followed them back. When Emojan saw Emoji and the others coming back, he hurried forward and said, "Young master, things are getting more serious. 3 of them are missing this time." "Did no one find out that 3 people are missing?" Emojan shook his head. The other party was too quiet. "Emojan, go and count our number and see if anyone is missing," Emoji ordered. Sima Yue stood behind him and saw that something was not right behind the Mo clan. "Be careful." She condensed her spiritual power and hit the last person in the crowd. The man was stunned at first, but he still subconsciously avoided it. However, her spiritual power did not dissipate, but strangely disappeared. "Yue, what's wrong?" Emoji and the others didn't notice any strange movements, but seeing that Sima Yue's move disappeared just like that, everyone knew that something was wrong. "I saw a faint shadow behind him just now." Sima Yue pointed at the spot. "But we didn't see any shadow." The others looked at the place doubtfully, but they didn't see anything. "That shadow is transparent, so you can't see it," Sima Yue said. "Then how did you find out?" Emojan asked. "I saw it," Sima Yue said. "Although it was faint, I still saw it." Saw it? Everyone looked at her in surprise. "We couldn't see it." "How did you see it?" "I saw it just like that." Sima Yue did not know either. "Maybe it's because my eyes are different from others." His eyes were different. Everyone stared at her eyes, but they couldn't see anything different. Emoji also stared at her eyes, but soon retracted his gaze and turned to look at the place just now. "What about the shadow just now?" "It ran into the river." Sima Yue pointed to the river. "Something in the river?" "It should be," Sima Yue said. "I don't know what it is, but I saw it floating from the river for some distance." "Then did you see what it was?" Emoji asked. Sima Yue shook her head. "It's just a blurry shadow." "So those missing people were all taken away by that shadow?" Emojan said. "They weren't captured. They were eaten," Sima Yue said. "The shadow I saw seemed to be about to swallow him." "Eaten?" "Yes. I think the shadow I saw should be eating people," Sima Yue said. "Those missing people should have been eaten at that time." The Mo clan couldn't digest the news for a while. Ordinary clansmen didn't carry their life cards with them at all, so they didn't know that these people were already dead when they disappeared. If those people were just missing, they could still think about whether it was possible for them to come back. But now that she said this, it has already broken their hope. "That thing was beaten away by you. I don't know if it will come back later." The Mo clan people felt a little scared at the thought of such an invisible thing eyeing them covetously. The atmosphere suddenly fell silent. Since that thing has been beaten away, it shouldn't come back for the time being. We will find out what it is. During this period of time, everyone should be careful and try not to act alone. Emoji comforted everyone, and then said to Sima Yue, "Yue, come here." Sima Yue and Huan followed him and left the place and came out of the camp. "Yue, how can you see that shadow?" Emoji asked. "Don't say that your eyes are special, you don't even believe this yourself." Didn't your ancestor tell you?" Sima Yue smiled. "I think I can see it probably because I am a soul body." "You are a soul body?" Emoji was shocked by the news and said in disbelief, "Are you really a soul body? Then in the human world, I was originally dead." Sima Yue said, "But it seems that someone in the human world saved my body again, so I didn't lose my memory." You. Emoji looked at her. "Are you really a soul body?" Sima Yue nodded. "Then how did you?" He remembered that when he met her, her strength was still very low, so how could she condense a body? "Condense a body? Someone else helped me condense this," Sima Yue said without a care. "Since you saw this as a soul body, is that also a soul body underworld beast? From the Wangchuan River?" Emoji guessed. "I don't know about this," Sima Yue said. "I don't know much about the underworld beasts in this river." "That is a vapor beast, which lives at the junction of the Wangchuan River and the Nirvana River. It lives alone, can be invisible, and can change forms, but its strength is not very powerful. After being injured, it will be very vengeful, but it will not recover in 3 to 5 days, so it will not come to trouble you for the time being. Huan, who had been quiet, said, "Ha. Huan, do you know this kind of underworld beast?" Sima Yue asked. "Kind of," Huan said. He would not tell them that this was the news he got from contacting the Black Shadow just now. The Black Shadow had been here for so many years and knew the situation here, so they could just ask him if there was anything. "So these 3 to 5 days are safe," Sima Yue said. "Why don't we take advantage of this time to solve this problem?" Chapter 1872. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web quick update. No pop-up window, free to read. You want to kill the vapor beast? Let's talk about it later. Huan, didn't you say that this vapor beast is vengeful? I heard it today. It will definitely come to me for revenge. Sima Yue said. Instead of waiting for it to come to me, it's better to find it now. As the saying goes, take its life when it's sick, isn't it? That's fine too. Huan agreed. It's more appropriate to find it now when it recovers and comes to you for revenge. But we don't know much about the situation at the bottom of the river. If we go down like this, I'm afraid we will encounter danger. Emoji was a little worried. Why don't I let Emojan take some people down to explore the situation first? They can't see the vapor beast. Besides, all of them together can't beat Huan, so why let them take the risk? Sima Yue said. That's true. Emoji responded. But you don't have to be so direct. Then it's settled. Huan and I will go down. Sima Yue looked at Huan after she finished speaking and said with a smile. Huan, you have no objections, right? I have no objections, but we have to wait for someone. We can only go down when he comes. Huan had no objections to her arrangement. He just needed to follow her and protect her. Who are we waiting for? Black Shadow. Black Shadow is coming too? He's been here recently. Huan said. I think he's more familiar with this place. Let him come over, and we can have a guide when we go down. There's also a thug, right? Sima Yue laughed. Before, when you didn't want to do it, you let him do it. It's called training him. He likes this kind of exercise. Huan had no shame. He contacted Black Shadow, and not long after, Black Shadow came over. As soon as Black Shadow saw Sima Yue, he ran over excitedly and hugged her, wailing. Miss? Sob sob sob, Miss, Black Shadow finally sees you again. Huan pulled him off Sima Yue and said in disgust, Shame. How is it shameful? Black Shadow waited for him. If you didn't follow Miss, you would definitely be like me. No, he must be even more excited than me. Not like you. Huan said. Humph, if you hadn't snatched this opportunity, the person guarding by Miss's side would have been me. The Black Shadow was very unhappy about this matter. If you hadn't cheated at that time, how could I have lost? That's called using your wits. Huan glanced at him indifferently. His gaze was very obvious. You're the one who's stupid, so how can you blame me? Sima Yue saw that Huan was about to make Black Shadow angry again, so she quickly pulled him back and said, Okay, the two of you can't stop arguing. And every time he was bullied by Huan, he didn't even know it. Miss, if you don't want me to tell you, then I won't tell you. The Black Shadow obeyed Sima Yue's orders. If you don't want me to tell you, then I won't tell you. Black Shadow, how did you come to the River of Forgetfulness? Sima Yue asked. This. Black Shadow looked at Huan and saw him shaking his head. He said, Well, the king gave me some tasks, so I came here. Ming asked you to come to the River of Forgetfulness? What are you doing here? Sima Yue was curious. Didn't Ming Wang boast that he hadn't participated in the affairs of the ghost world for a long time? This. You will know in the future. I can't tell you now. Black Shadow looked at Sima Yue pleadingly, hoping that she would stop asking. If she continued to ask, he would not be able to help but tell her. This would go against the king's intention of letting them see each other, and he would be punished. Sima Yue saw that he was in a difficult position, and became even more curious. Could it be that he was doing something shameful? TSK, would Ming do such a thing? At this time, she was completely unaware that this matter was related to her. Quan and Black Shadow looked at her eyes that were shining and gossipy, and the corners of their mouths twitched. They didn't know that she was so gossipy now. If she knew that this matter was related to her, would she be so angry that she would cramp up? But fortunately, she sympathized with him and did not continue to ask. Black Shadow, how much do you know about the situation underwater? I know very well. I know about the Bayan River and the River of Forgetfulness. Miss, where are you going? Black Shadow breathed a sigh of relief and asked with a smile. Do you know where the Vapor Beast is? Vapor Beast? I know. Although that guy is not strong, it is very cunning and not easy to catch. What did that guy do to offend Miss? Black Shadow asked. Something happened. Sima Yue told him about how the Vapor Beast ate people and was injured by her. That guy wouldn't dare to find trouble with Miss even if he had 10 guts. Otherwise, I will beat him up. Black Shadow knew more about the Vapor Beast. If it really offended her, he would definitely not let it live. Sima Yue stared at him. How do you know so much about the underworld beasts underwater? Ahem, after staying there for a long time, I understand. Black Shadow said vaguely. Could he say that it was because someone had a bad temper and couldn't vent it on Hell King? So he had to find trouble with the underworld beasts at the bottom of the river and collect their spiritual power to prepare a gift for her? As someone's protector and troublemaker, he naturally followed them at the bottom of the river. There was nothing that he didn't know about the bottom of the river. Since you know everything, then let's go to the bottom of the river to solve this matter. Then we will look for the treasure, Sima Yue said. Treasure? What treasure? Black Shadow asked in surprise. The treasure at the bottom of the river. Haven't you noticed that a lot of people have come here recently, all for the treasure at the bottom of the river? Sima Yue was even more surprised than him. Thinking of something, she suddenly grabbed Black Shadow's hand. You don't know about the treasure? You are so familiar with the underwater, but you don't know about it. Is the news of this treasure fake? Black Shadow's mouth twitched, thinking about how to tell her the truth. Where was the birth of a treasure? Those movements were all made by her family. There was no treasure at all. Quan guessed what was going on when he saw his expression. He stepped forward and said, Miss, let's solve the matter of the Vapor Beast first. Let's talk about the treasure later. Well, okay, I'll tell Emoji, Sima Yue said. Emoji was called away by Emojan when he was waiting for Black Shadow. Now that she was ready to go into the water, she naturally told him. When Emoji heard that she was going down, he wanted to say that he would go down with her. But when he thought of what she said, he still didn't say it. If there is any danger, be sure to tell me, he urged. I know. Sima Yue casually won. If something really happened, he wouldn't be able to rush over with his people. They came to the river and looked at the rolling water. Quan and Black Shadow each condensed a protective circle. As Sima Yue was a soul, she didn't need to breathe, so she didn't need to use this at all. When everything was ready, they jumped down together. The water splashed with small waves and then calmed down. Chapter 1873. Love. You. Read BookNet. No pop-ups, free to read. Fast updates, no pop-ups, free to read. The dragon eye was in the river of forgetfulness. Normally, it didn't look conspicuous. Many river beasts swam around here, but they didn't look different because of it. The dragon eye was buried in the sand. If not for a coincidence, Wu Lingyu would not have found it and survived through the pagoda. Sima Yue kept all the boxes and followed Wu Lingyu to the place where the dragon eye was. Ming and the others had already arrived and cleared the surrounding river beasts. A milky white bead with a diameter of 10 feet was casually placed in a pile of coral. It was covered with moss and looked inconspicuous. This is the dragon eye? The root of the river of forgetfulness? Sima Yue squatted in front of the dragon eye and looked at the huge bead. Perhaps because Wu Lingyu's soul was fused with it, she felt a familiar aura from the bead. It was a little intimate. However, if she carefully sensed it, she would find that the familiar feeling was not just from Wu Lingyu's aura. She reached out to push the dragon eye. The dragon eye seemed to be placed there casually. She used half of her strength, but she could not move it at all. You don't have to try. Even I can't move it, said Ming. Miss, why don't we try? The people present were not weak, and together they were strong. Okay. She glanced at Ming, and the latter came over reluctantly. She muttered, I really owe you. That's why I'm doing such a degrading thing with you. Sima Yue smiled and did not refute. The five of them exerted their strength together, but the dragon eye still did not move. This dragon eye is really strange. Sima Yue touched her chin thoughtfully. I told you. Brute force is useless against it, said Ming. Why don't you try using the chaos chi in your body? Chaos chi? Sima Yue was surprised. You came back from the chaotic world, so your soul is naturally stained with chaos chi. It is the aura that your body has concealed, explained Ming patiently. Sima Yue blinked her eyes and obediently released her aura. The dragon eye, which had no reaction before, began to emit a faint light. Seeing this, she placed her hand on the dragon eye and pushed it hard. Finally, the dragon eye had an indiscernible sway. If it were not for the fact that the people present were all top-notch experts, they might not be able to feel the slightest shake. However, she soon realized that she did not have enough strength. Her body was a little weak, and the degree of shaking was even greater than the dragon eye. Wu Lingyu noticed that her condition was not right. He quickly supported her and pulled her hand away from the dragon eye. Sima Yue felt that the feeling of her losing strength had disappeared. From the time she touched the dragon eye to Wu Lingyu pulling her down, it was only a matter of a few seconds. If it were not for Wu Lingyu's quick reaction, Sima Yue would have been drained of all her strength. Miss, how are you? Asked the Black Shadow with concern. They did not expect that the dragon eye would have such a big reaction after touching the chaos chi. If it were not for the connection between Wu Lingyu and the dragon eye, which allowed him to feel this and save her in time, it would have hurt her foundation. Ming looked at Sima Yue's pale face, and for the first time he regretted his words. If he did not let her try the chaos chi, such a thing would not have happened. Wu Lingyu hugged Sima Yue and blamed himself. Sima Yue saw that they were all looking at her nervously. She smiled at them and said, I'm fine. Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? If there is, say it. Wu Lingyu said gently. I'm fine. I just feel a little dizzy and weak. I don't want to stay here any longer. Sima Yue said. Then let's go out first. Wu Lingyu hugged her and disappeared from the bottom of the river. Not long after, they appeared on the riverbank. Then Ming came out with Huan and the Black Shadow. Ming went up to her and checked her hand. Then he sighed in relief and said, I'm fine. I just used up all my energy. I'll be fine after some rest. Sima Yue nodded. She knew that the energy Ming was talking about was not the spiritual energy in her body, but the energy of her soul and body. How long do you need to rest? She wanted to solve Wu Lingyu's problem as soon as possible. Then, she would go to the imperial capital and ask the Ghost King about the truth. If he could tell her everything about her mother, she would consider whether or not to accept him. If he was not willing to accept her, she would not think of him as her grandfather. She would find another way to find her mother. Even Mou was present at the scene when the incident had blown up. Even if he did not know where her mother was imprisoned, how could he not find it? This will take a long time. You won't be able to recover without 3 to 5 months, Ming said faintly. So long? Of course. What kind of situation do you think you are in? Your energy was almost sucked dry. Do you know that? Ming suddenly stopped scolding her. To be honest, she was in this state because of what he said. Thinking of this, he lowered his voice and said, You have to rest well. I will go back and think of a way for you. Okay. Sima Yue nodded. Everyone had seen the reaction of the dragon eye just now. Maybe if they followed this path, they would be able to think of a way. Look after her. Don't do anything stupid before her body recovers. Ming instructed Wu Lingyu, and then he tore open space and left. He did not say that he was going to bring Black Shadow and Huan with him, and they were happy not to ask. To put it nicely, they were staying behind to protect Yue. I didn't expect the dragon eye to be so powerful. Miss was injured so badly after just a short contact. Black Shadow looked at Sima Yue. Is there any elixir that can help you recover? Sima Yue shook her head slightly. Her energy had been sucked away, and it was not a normal injury. Ordinary elixirs would not work, and she did not prepare any rare elixirs. Then, does the young miss have anything that can help you recover? If there is, Black Shadow and I will look for it, Huan said. With his reminder, Sima Yue's eyes brightened. She smiled weakly and said, "No need, I've already found it." After saying that, she moved her mind and brought everyone into the Soul Tower. Little Ling already knew what she meant, and brought them to the Tree of Souls. Elder Bai, sorry to bother you. Sima Yue bowed to Elder Bai. Why are you injured so badly? Come to me. Elder Bai shook his body, and the leaves rustled. The fragrance that wafted into the air made Huan and Black Shadow feel refreshed. Wu Lingyu carried Sima Yue over, and placed her under the tree, letting her rest against the trunk. Elder Bai noticed him and said in surprise, "Huh? This soul is so strange." Chapter 1874. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web, no pop-up windows, free to read. Wang. The moment she entered the river of forgetfulness, something seemed to have been awakened. It was a very familiar feeling, a very gentle touch. In the underwater palace, Wu Lingyu's closed eyes suddenly opened, the light in his eyes shining brightly. You're finally here," he murmured and disappeared from the throne. Sima Yue felt that her body was firmly pressed to the bottom of the river of forgetfulness. She hurriedly put away the things that increased her weight. Only then did she feel a little better. "Humph, you've got guts, you actually dared to find trouble with me." A voice sounded behind her. She turned around and saw the vapor beast slowly appearing in the water. The vapor beast looked like a bubble. On top of the bubble was a semicircular head with 2 lantern-like eyes. It was staring fiercely at Sima Yue. "How did you see me?" the vapor beast asked. "I saw you just like that." Sima Yue's body was wrapped by something like silk, but she was not in a hurry to break free. She looked towards the Nirvana River, wanting to see Black Shadow and Huan's situation. "You don't have to look, they don't have the energy to save you now," the vapor beast said proudly. Sima Yue thought of the lifeless eyes of the fishes and suddenly said, "You controlled the minds of those fishes." "That's right." The vapor beast grabbed the other side of the silk, and with a thought, Sima Yue was tied even tighter. "You ghost, I haven't even gone to find you for revenge, but you came here instead." Sima Yue's arm hurt from being wrapped by that thing. She tried to struggle for a while, but it only made it tighter and tighter. "This is a divine weapon, the more you struggle, the tighter it gets. And it can't be cut, it can't be destroyed." The vapor beast slowly approached. "Humph, you dared to hurt me. I'll eat you today and use your spiritual energy to heal my injuries." As it spoke, it opened its mouth wide. Its semicircular mouth stretched all the way to its stomach. It was almost as long as Sima Yue. Sima Yue could already see the sharp teeth in its mouth and smell the stench coming from its mouth. Just as she was about to call me air out, she felt someone grabbing her shoulder and pulling her back. At the same time, a spiritual energy hit the vapor beast, blasting the lower half of its mouth off. It's you." The vapor beast saw Wu Lingyu. Although Wu Lingyu didn't cause it any trouble, it still knew about his reputation. When it saw him, it turned around and fled towards the Nirvana River. "You still want to escape?" Black Shadow and Huan saw that it was going to eat Sima Yue from afar, and caught it just in time. Sima Yue did not bother about the escaping vapor beast. The moment she sensed the familiar aura, she could not help but cry. She smiled and looked at the angry Wu Lingyu. She didn't even dare to blink, afraid that if she blinked, it would become an illusion. When the tears left her eyes, they merged with the river water, but they were still discovered by Wu Lingyu. "Don't cry." His anger dissipated in an instant. He reached out and touched her face, gently caressing her eyes. "Lingyu, I'm not dreaming, am I?" She looked at him and felt that this scene was too unbelievable and unreal. Wu Lingyu hugged her, wishing that he could melt her body into his. "Yue, I finally waited for you." He buried his head in her neck, his voice trembling. Sima Yue's arm was helped, but she could still move her forearm. She hugged his waist and buried her head in his chest. At this moment, she did not want to think about anything and let herself go. She only had him in her eyes and in her heart. It seemed that there were only the two of them in the world. Huan and Black Shadow caught the vapor beast and saw the two people hugging each other. To be exact, they saw Wu Lingyu hugging Sima Yue. Their hearts were bubbling. Logically speaking, they should not disturb them at this time. However, this scene made them unhappy, so they could not make someone happy. Well, I say, shouldn't we untie the young lady first? The Black Shadow spoke, interrupting their two-person world. Miss Arm is bleeding. Huan added. Wu Lingyu happened to be facing the two of them. He glared at them and let go of Sima Yue. His eyes darkened when he saw that her arm was bleeding because of the underworld weapon. I'm fine. Sima Yue touched his arm and comforted him. I'll untie you. He pulled on the underworld weapon and wanted to destroy it directly. Hey, don't destroy it. Sima Yue knew what he was thinking when she saw him like this, so she quickly stopped him. Why do you want it? Wu Lingyu asked. Sima Yue nodded. This underworld weapon is quite interesting. She had thought about it before. If she killed this vapor beast, this underworld weapon would become ownerless, and she would be able to keep it in her bag. Since you want it, I'll keep it for you. Wu Lingyu put down the underworld weapon and turned his gaze to the vapor beast. When the vapor beast saw his eyes, it immediately knelt down in fear and kept shouting, Lord, Lord, please spare my life. Lord, please spare my life. Lord, please spare my life. Wu Lingyu stopped Sima Yue and said coldly, If you had done something ordinary, I could have spared your life. But you wanted to kill Yue and hurt her. Do you want to kill yourself, or do you want me to do it? The vapor beast was filled with despair. It did not expect that it would end up like this. Not only did this guy suddenly appear and occupy the bottom of the river, he even wanted to kill it today. Since it was going to die no matter what, why not? Pooh. Before the vapor beast could get up, its body was pierced by a water arrow and it fell down. The underworld weapon that was tied to Sima Yue lost control because of its owner's death and loosened. Wu Lingyu took it down and put it in her hand. Sima Yue rubbed her numb arm and kept the underworld weapon. She smiled and said, Wait until I get to the shore. I'll make this underworld weapon recognize me as its owner. Let me take a look at your injuries. Wu Lingyu said. I'm fine. Lingyu, let me introduce them to you. They are. Before Sima Yue could finish her sentence, she was pulled away by Wu Lingyu. I don't know the guy who came with you, but I'm already very familiar with Black Shadow. Don't worry about these two people, let's find a place to talk first. Wu Lingyu's voice floated over. You two are not allowed to follow. Of course, Black Shadow and Huan would not listen to him, but when they moved, they found that they were trapped by the water and could only watch him take Sima Yue away. Damn, this guy must be taking revenge. Revenge on us for interrupting them just now. Black Shadow shouted. Although the power of the River of Forgetfulness would not hurt them, it was still possible to temporarily trap them. Huan gave him a look that said, I didn't expect him to be so powerful. He has already merged with the River of Forgetfulness, so well. Sure enough, his talent is enough to make the king sigh. Chapter 1875. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web no pop-up window. Free to read. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu went to the palace and left Black Shadow and Black Shadow alone. She didn't know what had happened, but Wu Lingyu knew Black Shadow, which meant that Black Shadow and Black Shadow were hiding something from her. Wu Lingyu had come to the ghost world, and they didn't tell her such a big thing. She naturally wanted to punish them and protest. She and Wu Lingyu came to the palace and saw this magnificent place. She had too many questions in her heart. Wu Lingyu carried her to the throne and sat down. She reached out and wrapped her arms around his neck. Lingyu, don't talk. Wu Lingyu kissed her red lips. He put one hand around her waist and the other hand under her armpit, holding her head and gently pressing her towards him. Sima Yue could feel his warmth, his lingering feelings, and his endless longing, just like how she longed for him. How many times did she miss him and couldn't cultivate in peace? How many times did she miss him so much that she had to continue to face the future alone? She thought that she would have to wait until she succeeded in her cultivation and return to the human world before she could see him again. She was worried that it would take too long, and he would no longer wait for her. She didn't expect that she would meet him in the ghost world, and meet him here. His appearance even made her think that all of this was just an illusion, just because she missed him too much. Wu Lingyu let go of her lips. His hands moved upwards and cupped her face. He leaned his forehead against hers and rubbed the tip of her nose gently. Yue, Yue, Yue didn't answer him this time. Instead, she held his face and offered her lips. When Black Shadow and Huan broke free from the shackles of the river and came to the palace, they could enter other places except for the main hall where they were. This guy's enchantment is so powerful. Huan had always thought that Sima Yoyue's enchantment was not bad. He did not know that Wu Lingyu was even more powerful than her. It's over. Miss must be angry this time. The Black Shadow grabbed his neck with both hands. What should I do? What should we do? Miss will be fine in a while. What I'm worried about now is that guy. Huan said with a solemn expression. Although he wasn't by Wu Lingyu's side, he still knew a lot about Wu Lingyu and his temper. Now that he knew that they had brought Sima Yue here, and did not allow them to see each other, it would not be easy for him to let this matter slide. Black Shadow was relieved and said with a chuckle, as long as Miss isn't angry, then it's fine. Wu Lingyu was indeed wholeheartedly devoted to the young miss and doted on her a lot. As long as young miss says the word, he will definitely not pursue this matter anymore. Then we'd better be sensible and not disturb them. Otherwise Sima Yue would be angry. Then I'll take you around this palace. This underwater palace is not bad. It's much better than the king's small hut. Aren't you afraid that the king will beat you up if he hears you? The king is not here right now. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu lingered for a while before letting go of each other. Wu Lingyu touched her blushing cheeks and whispered softly, Yue, I miss you. I miss you too. Sima Yue rubbed his palm, put her hands around his waist, and then leaned her head on his shoulder. Lingyu, I'm not dreaming, am I? Did you really come to the ghost realm? Are you really not a figment of my imagination? Wu Lingyu felt her dependence on him, and was both happy and distressed. He leaned over and kissed her cheek, saying, I'm here, Yue. I'm here to accompany you. Sima Yue's hands clenched even tighter, as if doing so could lessen the longing in her heart. Suddenly, she sat up and looked at him in horror, shouting, This is the river of forgetfulness. Only souls can come here. Are you dead as well? Who is it? Who killed you? Yue, don't be nervous. I'm fine. Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand and calmed her down. Impossible. Sima Yue did not believe him. You're also a soul body, how could you? I came here on my own. Wu Lingyu said, I'm not dead. My physical body is now being nourished in the demon realm. Why did you? Sima Yue was confused. Why didn't you come here directly? With his strength, wasn't it easy for him to travel through the 3 realms? Lin said that I can only see you if I wait for you here. By the river of forgetfulness, we'll meet again, so I came here to wait for you. Wu Lingyu explained. How is Lin? Sima Yue thought of her old friends when she heard those names. Lin passed away not long after you left. Lin. Sima Yue suddenly felt sad when she heard this news, sighing. When I met him previously, his body wasn't very good. I didn't expect him to pass away so quickly. How's Xiaotong? Xiaotong has taken over the position of the divination clan leader. No one in the clan has any objections to this. Before I came to the ghost realm, I heard that his ability to predict the future has improved rapidly after his master's death. He can already rely on his own strength to gain everyone's recognition. Wu Lingyu said. Xiaotong is very attached to Lin. He must not be feeling well now that Lin is gone. Sima Yue felt sorry for Xiaotong, but there was nothing she could do. I'm also very attached to you. You should feel sorry for me when I saw your body explode into pieces. Wu Lingyu said. I'm sorry, I didn't expect that after I used the power of faith, this would happen. You really don't know? Wu Lingyu stared at her. Sima Yue pouted, pinched his earlobe and said coquettishly, "At that time I didn't have any other choice. That old man's protective shield could only be broken by my power of faith. If I didn't do that, Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior and the guild leader would all die." Wu Lingyu snorted coldly. "Lingyu, don't be angry." Sima Yue pinched his earlobe, sighing. "To be able to touch you again, this chubby feeling, it's so good." Wu Lingyu's anger that he had gathered with great difficulty was driven away by her words, leaving behind only heartache and helplessness. He knew that she did it on purpose, but he was still defeated by her move. He pinched her face and said, "Do you know how I felt when I rushed over and saw that you were already?" At that time, I felt that my sky had collapsed. There seems to be no meaning for me to live in this world. Sima Yue hugged him. "I'm sorry, Lingyu, I'm sorry." Wu Lingyu hugged her back, bit her lips as if punishing her, and murmured, "Don't do this again, Yue. I can't bear it a second time." Chapter 1876. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up windows, free to read. Sima Yue's heart felt like it was being stabbed by needles. She leaned on his body and shook her head, saying, I won't do such things to make your heart ache in the future. If you go back on your words, I'll. Wu Lingyu didn't know what to say after that. What will you do? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him. Will you ignore me and not want me anymore? Can I bear to? Wu Lingyu rubbed her head. Ignore you, don't want you, which part of that I can tolerate? I just hate myself. If I was by your side, you wouldn't have. I knew that your body was in danger, but I still left you in the human world. I can't forgive myself. It's not your fault. Sima Yue didn't want him to blame himself. You know my strength. As long as I don't use the power of faith, I can still control myself. You also didn't know that I would use the power of faith. But speaking of which, before my divine consciousness fell into darkness, I seem to have seen my body explode into pieces. But the old ancestor said that my body was saved by someone, so I could keep my memories. What happened after I lost consciousness? Wu Lingyu didn't want to think about the scene at that time. Every time he thought about it, his heart would be cut into pieces. But now that she was the one asking him, he had to say it. When that **** arrived, you were indeed only left with broken limbs and bones. I used time reversal to change the time to before you exploded and reconstructed your body, but your soul immediately left, so your body returned to normal, but it was still a lifeless corpse. When Wu Lingyu said this, his body couldn't help but tremble. Sima Yue hugged him and kissed his cheeks, comforting him. Lingyu, I'm here. That's all in the past. If you don't want to, then don't think about it. Wu Lingyu caressed her hand, saying, This time it really scared me. He paused for a moment before continuing. After that, Yin Lin brought the Phoenix Master over. She used a treasure to exchange for your life. Aunt Feng. I owe Aunt Feng one more time. Sima Yue murmured. Do my grandpa and the others know about me? I know. Because at that time, we brought your body to the Sima family. Then aren't they scared? Yes, I did. But with Yin Lin telling them to take care of their bodies and that there would be a time when they could return, they felt a little better. As for the herbs used to nourish you, they will be sent to the Sima family by various people. It can be said that the Sima family is in the limelight now compared to those first-rate forces. Do Feng and the others know? Got it. If the people of Paramount Valley weren't suppressed by the Valley Lord, they would have gone to the Sima family to protect you. Feng and the others were very sad, but they were still okay. The one who changed the most was Li Er. Because this matter was caused by her capture, she blamed herself. She said that if she became stronger, this wouldn't have happened. The last news I received was that she left Paramount Valley and went out to train. Wu Lingyu slowly explained what happened in the human realm. Sima Yue could imagine everyone's reaction. After hearing about Shimanli, she sighed, saying, Lear has been sensitive since she was young. I'm afraid this will be a huge blow to her. That matter is a huge blow to everyone. Wu Lingyu said emotionally. What about you? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him. How did you come to the ghost realm? Don't try to fool me. You know me. The words that Wu Lingyu had prepared took a detour and went back. He smiled helplessly, saying, Actually, it's nothing. I just used a secret method to pull my soul out of my body. It's about the same as you. It's just that I didn't suffer like you did. Sima Yue's eyes reddened. Although she didn't know what secret method he was talking about, she knew that it must be something very harmful to the body. The process might be very painful. She didn't know if it would affect him in the future. And he actually came here for her. Wu Lingyu saw her like this and his heart ached. He quickly comforted her. It's really nothing. It'll be over in a while. Sima Yue's eyes reddened. She kept shaking her head. She didn't believe what he said. It must be very, very painful. Lingyu, thank you for doing so much for me. Silly, there's no need to thank me between us. If you really want to thank me, don't think about the past. Be happy. You're breaking my heart. As he said this, he pretended to touch his chest with his hand. Pfft. You're not sure. Why are you acting like a shizi holding your heart? Sima Yue was amused and her self-blame eased a lot. Wu Lingyu moved his lips closer. Yue, I still like to see you smile. After saying that, he kissed her tender and alluring lips. Huan and Black Shadow walked around the palace more than a dozen times. When they returned, the main hall was still surrounded by the enchantment. This is really too much. We've surrounded the palace and admired it more than a dozen times. I don't know how many ants have been trampled to death, but she still hasn't come out. Black Shadow poked the enchantment and complained. Will there be ants in the palace? I'm just making an analogy. Black Shadow looked at Huan with dissatisfaction. This guy was always tearing down his words. Are we going to wait outside all the time? Don't worry, it won't be long before they come out. Huan said with certainty. How do you know? Because the king is coming. The king is coming? How do you know? The king has been paying attention to Mrs. Affairs. Now that she's about to be abducted, of course he will come. Huan explained. You're saying that the king has been paying attention to things here? Black Shadow was stunned. Yes, so you said that the king's palace is a small hut. He probably knows about it too. Huan said and looked at him sympathetically. You dare to say that the king's palace is a small hut? Just wait until you go back and guard those two small huts. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Black Shadow was about to cry and looked at him sadly. You didn't ask me. Huan's indifferent expression made Black Shadow want to punch him. Unfortunately, after experiencing countless beatings, this idea could only remain as an idea. Thinking of his possible end, he wailed in his heart. Please don't let the king know. He didn't want to go back and guard those two small huts. After a while, as Huan said, the enchantment in front of the main hall was removed. This meant that the people inside had agreed to let them in. However, after seeing Sima Yue, before they could speak, there was a change in the space. Then a door was opened and Ming walked out. However, the air pressure on his body was so low that the river water was about to freeze. Chapter 1877. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window, free to read. Ming stared at Sima Yue's hand around Wu Lingyu's waist. He was very unhappy, very unhappy. Sima Yue did not care that he had exposed himself. She was still angry at him for not telling her that Wu Lingyu was here. Thus, she leaned her head on Wu Lingyu's shoulder and stared at Ming without saying a word. Ming almost spat out a mouthful of blood. I'm doing this for your sake. Why are you still angry at me? Stop it. Don't think that I don't know that you did it for your own interests. Sima Yue saw through him. Wu Lingyu did not say anything. He had not interacted with Ming Wang directly, so it was better for him not to say anything for now. I did it for your own good. Didn't you forget about the underworld at the start? What should I tell you? You have been thinking about your man. How can he protect you if he's not strong enough? I'm helping him increase his strength. Why would a man complain to a woman when he meets with a problem? Ming Wang snorted coldly. He was angry at her for not appreciating his help. Sima Yue stood up and said with a gloomy face, What did you do to Lingyu? Ming stared at Wu Lingyu. This guy did not say anything? Tell me, what did you do to Lingyu? Sima Yue did not dare to imagine what this guy would do to Wu Lingyu when he was bored. Actually, it's nothing much. Wu Lingyu pulled Sima Yue back to sit down. It just gave me some experience. Experience. Sima Yue looked at Ming in confusion. I think it's more than that. It's really just experience. Look, aren't I fine now? Wu Lingyu patted her hand and comforted her. That's right, and he even gained a lot of benefits. Look, the river of forgetfulness has already fused with him. Ming snorted coldly. He looked at Wu Lingyu in a slightly better light. At least he did not complain to Sima Yue. Merged into one. Sima Yue frowned. She was not as happy as she had imagined. What's wrong with you? Wu Lingyu asked when she saw how worried she was. Now that you've become one with the river, does that mean you can only stay here in the future, unable to leave? Can you still return to the devil realm? Sima Yue grabbed his clothes and asked worriedly. Wu Lingyu wanted to say that he was fine, but when he thought about how he couldn't even leave the river of forgetfulness now, wouldn't this lie be exposed soon? He hesitated for a moment, and Sima Yue understood. What the hell is going on? And what's with these two guys? You better explain it to me before I get angry. When she got angry, all the men in the room were stunned. Ming felt even more wronged. He was the one who was angry, okay? Why was it that in the end, he was the one who bowed down and apologized to her? But that was not enough. She was so angry that she did not treat him well for the next 2 days. On the other hand, she only scolded Black Shadow and Huan, who had directly carried out her orders. Of course, this was a story for later. I don't believe what you're saying. Get out, I want to talk to Lingyu alone. Sima Yue waited for Black Shadow and Huan to finish speaking before she chased the 3 of them out of the palace, and set up a barrier as a gesture. Wu Lingyu saw that she did not put much effort into setting up the barrier. This barrier could be broken with just a little bit of spiritual energy. Sima Yue walked back and held his hand. Before she said anything, her eyes turned red. Don't cry, I'm really fine. Wu Lingyu's heart melted when he saw her like this. She used to be all-powerful and did well in the human world. She was so strong that she did not seem like a girl at all. She was not like today, crying so easily. Sima Yue nodded and said, I won't ask you about the process. I don't think you'll tell me the truth anyway. But you have to tell me the consequences clearly. I don't care about the past, but it will affect both of us in the future. Wu Lingyu liked her words very much. The corners of his mouth curled up. Coupled with his devilish face, Sima Yue was stunned for a moment. Her reaction made him even happier. He could not help but hug her and kiss her for a while before letting go. Right now my situation is not very good. His words made Yue's heart clench. He quickly patted her stiff body and said, I'm just saying that it's not good for our future. But for other people, it's not bad. What do you mean? Sima Yue was confused. Since it's not bad, why is it not good for him? Wu Lingyu gave her a look that said, don't worry, listen to me slowly. Then he explained, since I came to the ghost world for you, naturally I will accompany you. But now I've merged with the river of forgetfulness. Merging with the river of forgetfulness. What will happen? Sima Yue looked at him nervously. I can control this river at will, and I can also get power from the river of forgetfulness. But Wu Lingyu looked at her bright eyes and sighed. He told her the truth. I can't leave it thousands of miles away. Otherwise, I won't be able to get its power. Once the power in my body is exhausted, I can only return to chaos. So you can't leave with me. Sima Yue immediately understood what he meant when he said it was not good for both of them. I'm looking for a solution. Wu Lingyu answered her indirectly. How did you merge with the river? Sima Yue was not happy. This was too ridiculous. Wu Lingyu was silent for a while, then smiled. It's nothing much, just that when I was training in the river, I was injured rather badly and my soul was almost unstable, so I found something to lodge in. I didn't expect to merge with that thing in the end. Don't tell me you merged with the Eye of the Dragon. Sima Yue looked at him in shock. Seeing him nod, She could not help but twitch her mouth. She had heard of the Eye of the Dragon in the underworld. At that time, when Ming brought her to the River of Forgetfulness, he once told her that the water of the River of Forgetfulness was not water that fell from the sky, but from the Eye of the Dragon. And this Eye of the Dragon was a product of the chaos of heaven and earth. It was very mysterious. As long as the Eye of the Dragon existed, the water of the River of Forgetfulness would not dry up. His body had merged with the Eye of the Dragon. No wonder he could merge with the River of Forgetfulness. Then you can just pick up the Eye of the Dragon and put it on your body. Wu Lingyu blinked his eyes. I've already tried this method, but the Eye of the Dragon is there, and I can't take it out. So I've been thinking of a way recently to see if there's any way to pick it up. Chapter 1878. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue was even more curious about the dragon's eye now. You've become one with it, why can't you move it? I'm not sure about that either. Wu Lingyu didn't know much about the ghost realm. He didn't know that there was such a thing as a dragon's eye in the River of Forgetfulness. That old guy Hades must know. Sima Yue snorted. I'll ask him. She was about to get up when Wu Lingyu pulled her back, and she fell back onto his lap. Before you go find him, tell me. How do you know him and how are you so close? Wu Lingyu hugged her and didn't allow her to move. She was getting jealous. Actually, it was no wonder that Wu Lingyu was unhappy. Yue had only been in the ghost realm for a few years. How could she have such a good relationship with Hades? Judging from this situation, it was not an ordinary relationship at all. Otherwise, why would Hades listen to her accusations and apologize to her? Why would Huan and the others call her Miss? Actually, it's nothing. When I came to the ghost realm, because my soul had been to the chaotic world, I went directly to the ghost realm. At first, Hades was bored and thought that I was interesting, so he wanted to keep me in the ghost realm. Later, I stayed there for many years and became familiar with them. Later, he said that I was the miss of the ghost realm. Sima Yue explained. He didn't call you the princess of the ghost realm, but called you miss instead. What kind of mentality is this? Wu Lingyu curled his lips. Such a childish action did not seem out of place on his face at all. Sima Yue beamed as she pinched his face, saying, I'm not his daughter nor his little sister. Why would he call me princess? She just had a special identity in the ghost realm. It's because of this that I feel that he has evil intentions. Wu Lingyu snorted coldly. Tell me if not, why wouldn't he call you miss? How could an old monster like him recognize me as his sister or daughter? Isn't it normal for people to call me miss? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. She had to hand it to him if he could even find a problem with this. When Wu Lingyu heard her say that Ming was an old monster, her sour heart immediately calmed down. He gave her a peck on the cheek and chuckled. You use right. That's how it should be. Sima Yue wrinkled her nose and made a face at him. Then she got down from his body and removed the barrier. She said, Let's go and ask Ming about the Eye of the Dragon. However, after they went out, they didn't see Dark, only Black Shadow and Huan were counting the microorganisms in the river. How boring. Seeing the two of them come out, Black Shadow and the others were a little surprised. They blurted out. How come you're so fast? Sima Yue rolled her eyes when she saw how surprised she was. Where's Ming? Sima Yue asked Huan. He was still more mature. The king said that he came all the way here because he was afraid that you would suffer, but in the end, he was locked outside by you. He felt depressed, so he went outside to relax. Huan said with a smile. Sima Yue looked at the smile in Huan's eyes and knew what was going on. She whispered, How old is he? He's still throwing a tantrum. I'm still angry. If he wants to go out for a walk, then let him go out for a walk. Everyone. Sima Yue took Wu Lingyu's hand and said, Lingyu, you haven't eaten anything I made for a long time, right? Why don't we go to the shore and I'll make something for you to eat? Wu Lingyu looked at her smiling eyes and knew what she was thinking. He nodded and said, Okay. Counting the years when I was there, I haven't eaten your food for decades. I just want to eat it. Then let's go ashore. Sima Yue took his hand and swam to the shore. Oh miss, I'll help you. After saying that, the black shadow also swam up. As for Huan, needless to say, he was already in front of the black shadow. The place where they went up was called the mysterious area. No one dared to come here. But for Sima Yue and the others, this place was no different from any other place. While Sima Yue was cooking, Wu Lingyu was still watching from the side as usual. The two of them talked about something and laughed from time to time. The laughter that came from the bottom of their hearts made Huan and the black shadow feel emotional. So this is what Miss looks like when she smiles sincerely. The black shadow looked at Sima Yue and sighed. So Miss has been unhappy all these years. Huan glanced at him faintly. He didn't expect this guy to still be able to understand this. Miss has naturally been unhappy all these years. Her mother was not rescued, and she was working hard alone in the ghost realm. She had no relatives around her and few friends. It wasn't easy to find one or two people to talk to, but those things happened. After following Miss all these years, I can really understand the bitterness of Miss. Huan felt pity for Sima Yue in his heart, but other than protecting her safety, there was nothing he could do to help. There was no way to make her truly happy from the bottom of her heart. Thinking of this, he felt that Wu Lingyu was more pleasing to the eye. At least his existence could make her happy from the bottom of her heart. Alas, this is the person that Miss has placed at the top of her heart. The black shadow looked at Wu Lingyu enviously and felt a little lost in his heart. Okay, we're different from him. Don't think so much. Huan patted him on the shoulder. I'm just sad for Mississippi, the black shadow said. Why don't you think the king helped Miss save her mother? Have you forgotten the rules of the underworld? The underworld can't intervene in the affairs of the ghost realm. Huan scolded. Didn't you destroy the Dong family? The black shadow protested in a low voice. Is that the same? That's bullying our young Miss Head. I'm upholding the dignity of the underworld. Huan argued. Then isn't this the same thing? The black shadow didn't feel any difference. The king has investigated it. The matter of suppressing Mrs. Mother involved a lot of things in the ghost realm. If we were to come forward from the beginning, it would bring a lot of trouble, Huan said. So, the king is planning to wait for Miss to save her mother before making a move? The black shadow, who had always been relatively inflexible, actually grasped the key point at once, causing Huan to look at him in a new light. It's hard for you to think of this, Huan said. If we make a move first, it's our business to intervene in the ghost realm. If they dare to bully Miss, it's a slap in the face of the underworld. In this way, we naturally have to protect our Miss. Haha, that's good. The black shadow suddenly laughed, causing Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu to look over. He quickly restrained himself. Besides, the king has always been so bored. Let him watch Miss grow up. It can be considered as giving him something to do. If we directly rescue Mrs. Mother, the king will probably be bored again. Huan added. The black shadow's mouth twitched. Why did he feel that what Huan said was the real reason? Chapter 1879. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up windows free to read. When Ming came over, Sima Yue had finished cooking, and everyone was ready to eat. When Huan and Black Shadow saw him, they immediately stood up and bowed. However, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu sat on the ground and did not move. When Ming saw her attitude, he was angry, but when she glared at him, he felt guilty. This matter. Although he was indeed in the wrong, she didn't need to give him a hard time now, right? Sima Yue did not speak, and Ming stood there and did not come over. Black Shadow and Huan naturally did not dare to sit down and eat. Just like that, everyone froze. Then Wu Lingyu sighed and said, Yue made some food just now. Would Ming Wang like to do me the honor of joining us? Yue made more food and she even prepared some good wine. When Ming saw that Sima Yue did not say anything, he nodded and sat opposite Sima Yue. Black Shadow immediately poured wine for him. King, this is the kind of wine that Miss mentioned before. It tastes really good, try it. Black Shadow said eagerly. You know that it tastes good? So you've already drunk it? Ming glanced at him, and his body immediately froze. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he put on an envious expression. I want to, but I'm not with Miss. If anyone drank it, it was Huan who drank it. When I opened the wine jar just now, I smelled it. I thought you wanted to go back to the hut. Ming snorted. Black Shadow's body froze again. King knew about this. Ooh, it's over. Looking at King's expression, it seemed like he was going to settle the score. After Ming finished speaking, he did not pay attention to him anymore. He picked up the wine cup and tasted it. Indeed, it tasted good. Sima Yue did not care about him and started eating with Wu Lingyu. When Black Shadow and Huan saw that both of them had moved, they began to feast on the delicacies in front of them. The Netherworld King was very depressed throughout the meal. He glared hatefully at a certain someone who was smiling and picking food for Wu Lingyu. The prawn meat in his mouth, which was his favorite, was tasteless. This woman had him completely under her thumb. Was she not afraid that if he was really angry, no one in this world would be able to protect her? But she wasn't afraid. She knew that he wouldn't. But he really wouldn't punish her. He couldn't even bear to see her suffer any grievances. As for Wu Lingyu's matter, he did not want her to see him, so he asked someone to make things difficult for him. However, the real reason was to increase his strength, so that he would have the power to protect her. He was so kind, yet she was still angry with him. He felt so wronged and unreasonable. His heart felt so stifled. But why? Why couldn't he harden his heart and punish her? He had thought about this question more than once, but he couldn't come up with an answer. He used to think that he had fallen in love with her, but he repeatedly confirmed that it wasn't the feeling of love. He also used to think that he treated her as a family member, but he didn't have a family member himself, so how could he have such a feeling? So it wasn't love either. He seemed to dote on her very much. He liked to see her cause all kinds of trouble, even if it was to clean up after her. It was as if he was happy to go along with her. It seemed that a long, long time ago, he had felt this way about something, but it had been too long and he had forgotten what it was. That's not right. He even remembered the color of the pants he wore when he was young, so how could he not remember what it was? Whether it was a person, an object, or a beast, he had no impression of it at all. What was it? How could he not remember? Sima Yue looked at him in a daze as he stared at the food, as if he had fallen into deep thought and couldn't come out. She sighed in her heart, and then said, By the way, Huan, Black Shadow, you have all stayed in the underworld for so long, so you should know more about the River of Forgetfulness, right? Huan and Black Shadow both noticed that their king was in a daze, thinking about his awkward thoughts, and were thinking about what to do when they heard Sima Yue's question. I know about the River of Forgetfulness. Why are you asking this? Black Shadow replied. Then do you know about the Eye of the Dragon? Sima Yue asked again. Although she was asking Black Shadow, her attention was focused on Dark, so when she saw him looking over, she pretended not to care and looked to the side, the corners of her mouth rising. Both Black Shadow and Huan were stunned by her question. They were all clear about the matter of Wu Lingyu and the River of Forgetfulness merging into one, so they naturally knew the purpose of her question. But how could they have heard of that thing? They had never come into contact with it, so they didn't know anything about it. Otherwise, why could Black Shadow only watch as Wu Lingyu and the Eye of the Dragon merged into one? That Eye of the Dragon? Miss, we really don't know anything about it. You have to ask the king about it. Huan also found a way out for Dark. When Dark heard Huan say this, he thought that this guy was still reliable. That guy, Black Shadow, should still be sent back to his small hut. He stared at Sima Yue, and if she didn't speak first, he wouldn't speak. Although Sima Yue and Dark had only been together for a few years, she could be considered to have a thorough understanding of his temperament. She snorted and said, Dark, you are the king of the underworld, so you should know everything. What is the origin of this Eye of the Dragon? It actually prevents the domain from going beyond 10,000 miles. When Dark saw that she spoke first, his expression returned to normal. He snorted and said, You have been in the underworld for so many years, so you still don't know anything about the underworld. I took you to so many places in the past, but it was all in vain. Sima Yue wanted to say that he didn't take her to the river of forgetfulness at all, so how could she know what the eye of the dragon was? But thinking that he was the only one who knew about this matter, she swallowed it back. This eye of the dragon is something that was born in the chaos at the beginning of heaven and earth. It has been there since the separation of heaven and earth. It is the root of the river of forgetfulness's existence. Since it has already merged with his soul, it naturally can't leave. Dark said faintly, and there was no lack of schadenfreude in his words. Who asked you to be angry with me? Who asked you to throw a tantrum with me, because of a man? Humph, now you are anxious. Sima Yue knew what he was thinking when she heard his words, and she rolled her eyes helplessly. Ling Yu, since you can't leave the eye of the dragon, then let's take it away. This way you won't be far away from it. Sima Yue thought that this was a good idea, and planned to take a look at the eye of the dragon in a while. Wu Lingyu wanted to remind her that he had told her before that the eye of the dragon couldn't be moved. But with her temperament, she wouldn't forget that there should be another purpose for saying this. Wu Lingyu should have already tried, right? This eye of the dragon can't be moved at all, so what's the use of you going? Dark stared at her, wanting to see her disappointed expression, but he saw her staring at him with bright eyes. Chapter 1880. In 1 second, she remembered. Love divided by you? Read book web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue looked at Ming and finally revealed a smile. Ming, you should have a way, right? I have no way, Ming said. Seeing that no one believed him, he said seriously. I'm telling the truth. That dragon eye is very strange. Even I can't do anything about it. Then why did you let Ling Yu? Sima Yue was really angry this time. He knew that there was no way, but he still let him fuse with the dragon eye? Miss, this is all my fault. If I hadn't been delayed and arrived late, he wouldn't have been forced into the situation of fusing with the dragon eye. Black Shadow blamed himself and said, Punish me. This matter has nothing to do with the king. He ordered me to protect Ling Yu with my life. Sima Yue's eyes were red and she wanted to cry, but there were no tears. She only felt that her eyes were very dry. She had never thought about the matter of Wu Lingyu fusing with the dragon eye. But now that it was mentioned again, her heart hurt as if it was pierced by needles. His fighting power was forced to the point where his body and soul were about to dissipate. How serious was the situation at that time? How serious was his injury? All right, didn't you say that you don't want to think about the past? Wu Lingyu really wanted to hug her and give her a deep kiss so that she wouldn't have the mood to think about it. But now that there were people around, he could only coax her softly. The other three were also frightened by her appearance. They had almost never seen her like this. Even if she was angry before, it was like a child throwing a tantrum. But now she wasn't angry. Instead, she was sorrowful from the bottom of her heart. You've been used to being free in your 2 lives. Staying in the stone for hundreds of thousands of years was already enough for you. Now that you're trapped in this place. No, I will definitely think of a way to restore your freedom. Thinking that Wu Lingyu would be trapped here for the rest of his life, she couldn't control her body and trembled. Wu Lingyu held her hand and said, Let's think of a way together. He didn't plan to be trapped here for the rest of his life. Even if Ming Wang and the others couldn't do anything, he had to find a way. If he resigned himself to fate, she would feel even worse. Moreover, neither of them were people who would resign themselves to fate. Sima Yu held his hand and nodded her head heavily. You think of a way? What can you think of? That fellow is stubborn, and it's useless no matter what we do. Ming grunted coldly and poured cold water on them. Just because you don't have a solution doesn't mean that others don't have a solution. Sima Yue was really angry at him. She didn't tease him like before. Miss, the king went to find the dragon eye before. The Black Shadow defended Ming. Although they did not do a good job in this matter, Miss should calm down and not accuse the king. Sima Yue did not expect that Dark had personally dealt with it. Hearing the Black Shadow's words, the anger in her heart subsided. All right, let's not talk about this for now. Ming, is there really no other way? Sima Yue asked. Even if it's some unorthodox method. I don't have a way, but now that you mention it, I remember a legend I've heard before. Thinking of that legend, Ming frowned slightly. What's wrong? What's that legend? Sima Yue had never seen him frown before. Speaking of which, this was the first time. It said that the dragon eye came from the chaos of heaven and earth. To solve this, it's most likely related to the chaos. Ming said, but I'm afraid it's not easy to deal with the chaos. Why is it not easy? The chaos world is said to be a world, but it doesn't seem to have anything. Ming said, even I haven't been to the chaos world before. You haven't been to the chaos world? Sima Yue was shocked. Didn't you say that I have the aura of the chaos world when you first saw me? How did you know if you haven't been there? I really wanted to go in the past, but I was restrained at that time. I secretly tried a few times, but I couldn't cross the border of the chaos world. Ming said, then I had a burden on me, so I didn't go. It's rare that someone could restrain you. Also, I don't think you're the kind of person who would give up on your curiosity because of a burden. Is there anything else? Sima Yue knew him very well. Ming knew that he couldn't escape her eyes, so he snorted. When I was the king of hell, I was forced to swear that I wouldn't go there. Are there people living there like the underworld? No. It's not suitable for living creatures to live there. But people who go there can't come out. So no one knows what it's like there. Ming said, I didn't expect you to be able to come out. I couldn't come out at that time either. It was Emo Sha who went in and brought me out. Sima Yue said. After that, Emo Sha and Ling Yu's souls fused. I think it's because of this that only I came to the underworld directly, while Ling Yu went to the ghost world. Ming and Huan looked at Wu Lingyu in a higher light. He was actually willing to go to the chaos world to bring her out. This temperament, strength, and attitude were all qualified. You said that the solution to the Dragon Ball is related to the chaos world. What kind of legend is that? Tell me more clearly. Sima Yue said. It said that only the chaos chi can move the Dragon Ball. Ming said, I think that the reason why he could fuse with the Dragon Eye is because your soul power has some of the Chaos World's aura. Otherwise, there are many people who want it. How could you be the only one who fused with it? Very likely. Sima Yue nodded. Hurry up and eat. After we finish eating, we'll go and meet the Dragon Eye. Okay. Alright. Sima Yue remembered her original purpose of coming here and asked Wu Lingyu. Since you're so familiar with this place, do you know about the treasure? Treasure? Wu Lingyu was stunned. What treasure? Why didn't I hear about it? As he said that, he also looked up at the black shadow. Ahem, you don't care about the news on the shore, so naturally you don't know about it. The black shadow said. In fact, this matter is also because of you. You went to the bottom of the river from time to time to find trouble with those river beasts, and then leak some of your aura from time to time. And then those people thought that a treasure was about to be born. Sima Yue blinked. It was actually him who made the noise? It's actually such a big mistake. My treasure, it turned into a bubble just like that. She was depressed. It turned out that she was looking forward to nothing. She now understood why she always wanted to come here, and why she always felt that she would regret it for the rest of her life if she didn't come. With him here, if she didn't come, she would regret it. At this moment, the Sun Mother stone in her space ring reacted. Seeing that Emoji was contacting her, she remembered that she hadn't given him any news for so long. He must be worried. Plus, there was no treasure, so she decided to go back before looking for the Dragon Eye. Chapter 1881. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book net no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue brought Ming and Wu Lingyu back to the camp. Emoji was a little surprised when he saw 2 more people. And then he saw Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu holding hands together. And his eyes almost popped out. Emoji, let me introduce you, this is Lingyu. Lingyu, this is Emoji I told you about. Sima Yue introduced the two. Wu Lingyu knew Emoji, but this was the first time Emoji knew him. He cupped his hands towards Emoji and said, I heard from Yue that she was in the ghost realm these days. Fortunately, you guys took care of her. Lingyu is very grateful. Emoji immediately heard the tone of sovereignty in his words. Looking at the smile that had never appeared on Yu's face, and the feeling of a little bird that was inadvertently revealed, he finally understood the identity of Wu Lingyu. However, he was a little curious. How did this girl go down the river and bring back another person? As for this, he is my friend, and he passed by here. Sima Yue vaguely introduced Ming, and Emoji saw that Ming was putting on airs and didn't seem to have any intention of befriending him, so he also cupped his hands. Then he turned to look at Sima Yue and said, "You went down for so long and there was no news. If I couldn't contact you again, I would have taken people down. After going down, I met Ling Yu and the others, so I was delayed for 2 days." Sima Yue explained. "Have you found the vapor beast?" Emoji asked. "I've killed it. You can rest assured in the future," Sima Yue said. "That's good. Because the vapor beast could be invisible, they have been a little worried recently, afraid that that guy would come up again." Now that he heard her say so, he was relieved. "By the way, Emoji, when I went underwater, I checked by the way. There was no treasure to be born in the river at all. Those unusual auras were actually from someone fighting at the bottom of the river. Therefore the Emo family can leave now," Sima Yue said. Emoji was stunned for a moment. He lowered his eyes and thought for a few seconds. Then he nodded and replied, "I see. I'll let them prepare to go back. Speaking of which, they've been here for a long time. It's time for them to go back." In his opinion, either she was telling the truth and there was no treasure below, or she had already obtained the treasure. Even if it was the second kind, he would not snatch the treasure, so he can let the people of the Mo clan go back. "That's good. Be careful when you go back. I still have things to do, so I can't leave with you. Goodbye." Sima Yue was a little worried about the safety of Emoji and the others. She heard from the guy who was wandering around all day that the ghost realm had not been peaceful recently. "You're not coming back with us? Where are you going?" After Emoji asked, he felt that he seemed to be a little abrupt. Sima Yue said that she was going to do something at this time. It was estimated that she was going with these people. It was a little inappropriate for him to ask in person. However, he was still a little worried about her. Although there were people following her, he was still worried. So he explained, "The ancestor asked me to protect you. Wherever you go, I naturally have to go. Where I'm going, ordinary people can't go. Don't worry, they will protect me. Don't worry, I will tell your ancestor that he won't punish you." Sima Yue politely refused her. When Emoji saw that she had said so, he knew that if he asked again, he would be shameless. "Well, if you need anything, remember to contact me." "I know." Sima Yue nodded at him, indicating that she had heard it. If there was anything, she would definitely look for him. After Emoji talked to her for a while, he went to tell Emojan to pack up and leave. Although Emojan was very surprised, he still obediently asked the Mo clan to pack up and leave. Moreover, many people saw them when they left. At first, they were very curious. Later, some people who had a good relationship with them went up and asked them, only to know that they went back because there was no treasure here at all. No treasure? Then wouldn't all their time be in vain? However, the Mo clan has always been unique in treasure hunting, and their sense of smell for treasures was much more sensitive than that of ordinary people. Many times, they were even used as a wind vane by the people of the ghost realm. Therefore, most people believed the news they spread. After staying for a while, they found that there was indeed no movement of treasures, and they all chose to leave. But there were also a small number of people who did not believe their words and chose to continue to stay here. However, after staying for a long time, they did not find out anything. On the contrary, the previous abnormal movement did not come out again, and the entire Nirvana River seemed to be silent. At this time, they believed that there was indeed no treasure here. And it has been a year or two since Emoji and the others left. Sima Yue didn't care about other people's choices at all. After saying goodbye to Emoji, she wanted to go directly to the Dragon Eye, but she was pulled back to the Water Palace by Wu Lingyu. When Wu Lingyu piled up a room full of boxes to her, Sima Yue was still a little stunned listening to his words. "You snatched a part of the river beast's force?" She twitched the corner of her mouth. Was this the aura of the treasure that the people outside felt? He had fused with the Dragon Eye. As long as he made a move, there would indeed be an unusual aura. It was no wonder that the people outside would misunderstand. Wu Lingyu was not satisfied with her description, and corrected her. This is not snatching, it is filial piety to me. These things are very useful for your current cultivation. After coming here, he had been thinking about what kind of gift to prepare for her. In the end, he felt that this was the best, and by the way, he could also practice his combat effectiveness, so he took action. Now that he thought about it, it did seem a little naive. Actually, you don't have to do these for me. I have the underworld power of the ancestor in my body. As long as my body can keep up, the seal can be lifted. So my cultivation is still very fast. Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu's heart was lost for a moment. After coming to the ghost realm, his power weakened a lot, and he did not contact the people here. Now even a gift was not good enough. At this moment, there was a soft touch on his face, and she whispered softly, "Even so, I still like it very much. I like the gift you prepared for me very much." He looked sideways slightly and saw her satisfied smile. What she cared about was not how many good things he could give her, but his feelings for her. When he was waiting for her here alone, he would still spend time preparing gifts for her. Regardless of whether these things were useful to her or not, his heart made her feel very warm. She put her hands on his shoulders, and the two looked at each other, their eyes full of tenderness. Lingyu, it's so good to have you in the ghost realm. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.